Coming to you live from my parents' basement. It's the
Yeah.
Surviving Maine Podcast.
Ding. Okay. Well, hello there. I am Taylor, and you are listening to the Surviving Maine Podcast Deep-Dive interview series. About, over a year ago now, I spoke with most of the cast of Surviving Maine Season 4 just weeks after they played the game. So these interviews are untainted by the edited show. It's just how each player remembers their game, what was important to them, what were their favorite moments, what are their regrets. These interviews I've been doing since season 2, and they're just kind of a way for the players to have a cathartic expression of their game. My 7th interview is with a man who has a real good poker face, TJ. TJ, hello.
Hello, Taylor. So nice to see you again.
Yes, you too. And I'm so sorry that you were eliminated in such a vicious manner.
There is no reason to be sorry. It was a beautiful, beautiful way to go out. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, fantastic. And a night tribal. Who doesn't want to go out in a night tribal, right? They look the
Exactly. The
coolest. Yeah.
torches, the flames,
Yes.
idle in my face, look of what on earth has just happened. Yeah,
Yes.
it was the way you want to go.
The blind side is the best, especially when you didn't have the majority of votes against you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Never did despite many efforts.
All right, so let's start from the beginning, or
Yes.
however you want to do it. But if you want to start from the beginning, what were you thinking when you got to the location? What were your first impressions of what was happening with three tribes? Was that shocking?
Well, first, I just want to give a shout out to Liza because
Yes.
the only reason I learned about this game or learned about LRGs at all was I was coming back in this December. I was coming back from just a day trip to New Hampshire with my mom, and it was the night of the Survivor 43 finale.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, oh, like maybe there's like a watch party or something somewhere. And on our way home, I searched and I found Survivor fans of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And the one post was like, "Hey, where's the watch party for this one?" by one Liza Stratton. So from that, I joined the group and I started to see their posts about Surviving Maine and about other LRGs and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, "Oh wow, what a wonderful world to get a glimpse into." And
Yes.
I made my audition video while I was in Bangkok. And I was very nervous. I was so worked up about making the video and everything because I have a very difficult time like being like, "Hey, I'm awesome. Look at me." Like it's not really it's like I like being on stage, but I'm not used to it so much.
Mm.
So it was I think just making the video alone was a great experience. And then to get accepted, I was like, like I it gave me something to be very excited about coming home. And yeah, I got home. I returned to the US 12 days before Surviving Maine. So I didn't have very long to get over jet lag and to get ready to drive up to Maine.
Yeah. That's wild. That that group, that Survivor fans of Boston group, I was on that thread because I happened to be going to Boston for work the week of the finale. So I was commenting
We
in there
should have made it
too.
happen.
Yeah, well, we did. All the people from Surviving Maine season 3 ended up. It was Jess ended up having a bunch of us over at her house, so it was great. But we didn't want
That's
strangers
funny.
coming.
I see how that works.
We didn't
Okay.
want strangers coming.
I guess I'll be invited to the next one.
You will be, yes.
Nah, I'll be out in LA with you, Taylor. We can have one out there.
Yeah, baby. All right. Okay. Now start from the beginning. What was going through your head when you got there? And I guess after 12 days you were used to the time
More or
change.
less. I mean, I'm a poker player, so I sleep very unusual
Yeah.
hours anyway. Today I woke up at the crack of 12:30 p.m. So
Okay.
um yeah, but I rolled up late as I usually am and was just very scattered. And yeah, when I went to the funniest thought I had coming in was I remember thinking like, oh, because I had just finished watching season three. I was like, this is so exciting. I'm going to see this field that I just watched on YouTube, and it's like going to be like Andy and Matt and Jess are going to be there, like doing an immunity challenge or something. And then like as I'm driving down Green Road, I'm like, no, that's silly. Like they're not going to be there. Like, yeah, you'll see the field, but it won't look the same. And then I roll up. There's Samantha, and Matt, and Jess. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
Will. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, this was closer to my vision than I had imagined.
Right.
So it's nice to see them. Yeah, Dan helped check me in as well, and yeah, I remember I had another set of clothes in my bag, and Sam went through it and said, "Well, okay, well these pants zip off, so these count as your shorts and your long pants, and this shirt looks like it's good for cold or hot, so you can just put all that other stuff back in your car." I was like,
Oh dang.
"Really? Okay." Um, yeah, so I just had my one set of game clothes, but worked out perfectly well. This highly recommend this shirt from REI. But yeah, I was like, it got real very quickly. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm going into this with the clothes on my back and a bottle full of tick spray that I had failed to apply in time.
But they let you keep it, the bottle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I did. I used it later in the day, and then on day two, I spilled it all over my bag,
Oh
and
no.
then had to just like leave my clothes out to dry in the sun for a while. But didn't day two onwards, no ticks.
Yeah, right.
You just have to spill a bunch of volatile chemicals all over yourself. Really, that's what I would recommend.
That's the key. Yeah. All right. So, so you were late. Was a
Yes.
bunch of people were already there sitting in the field?
Yeah, I was probably maybe a few people showed up after me. I would guess I was like 14th or 15th.
Wow.
Um, and then I tried to do what I always do, look around, give a lot of the smile and the smize, just the like
Mm-hmm.
give everybody some nice eyes. And of course, I was looking out for the blue tags as well.
Yes.
Um, I saw one blue tag in front of me, which later turned out to be Shaylee, but she just wouldn't turn around. She was in her zone. I was hoping she would turn around and I could be like, hey. Um, but I did see Dave, and I said Dave came in right before me. And Dave has plenty of experience. Yeah, he was proudly displaying his tag, and we were like,
Oh my God.
and I didn't see Kiefer or Allison at any point. But one of the last people to arrive was Mary and plopped down right behind me.
Okay.
And, Mary had very little regard for lockdowns and such things. So yeah, Mary was already cracking jokes. I was like, oh, okay, good, good. We have a funny person. Like I had sort of an instant connection with Mary there.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I was trying to make some nice faces. And then we got up. We were the last tribe to go, so then we got to see each other before we all walked together. But yeah, walking when I really got the sense for who Mary was when we were still supposed to be in lockdown. We were walking past the parking lot before we got quite to the trail, and Mary sees a license plate and then says, "Wow, whose license plate says fuckinator? I gotta meet them." We were just like, which we later found out is Seth's license plate that says "fuck cancer." And Mary saw what she wanted to see, and it was
Oh
a
shit.
it was a wonderful moment. And I think in that moment I knew I was like, okay, let's. buckle up for this chick because Mary is as special as we knew she was in that moment.
Yes, yes. And for people who don't realize, when they arrive, when the cast arrives, they're not allowed to talk to anyone. You can like
No.
make eye contact, but like Mary comes in just like a whirlwind and just starts saying hello to people. And like other people want to like follow the rules and like won't even look around. Like I heard Callie was just staring at the ground and would like not look at anyone. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, Callie was right behind me actually. I was trying to give Callie eyes as well.
yeah.
She was locked in this whole game.
You had the right strategy there. It's that middle ground of like no talking, but I'm gonna look at
Oh
people and
yeah, following the
yeah.
rules, but also, doing what I can.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to do my first confessional with Andy, which was very nice because I had just like on the way to Maine was listening to Andy's deep dive from season 3.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was good, and uh I enjoyed that and enjoyed sort of setting myself up to setting myself up to play a good game.
Mm-hmm. Did you do you feel listening to any of those podcasts helped you at all?
Um, I think so. I couldn't tell you a particular way in which it helped me, but I think that getting the sense from a lot of um hearing different people's perspectives, um and thinking about how different players in season 3 saw the game and how
Yeah.
different players interpreted how they saw that game and applied it strategically, I think did help me.
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of one of my greatest strengths in poker is that I'm very good at just sort of soaking up data and being able to interpret it, um consciously or subconsciously, and then be able to extrapolate a strategy or a process or an idea from it. So I think that taking in as much information as I could coming into this experience was definitely beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. So you were starstruck by Andy, obviously.
Yes.
And then
Andy said to me, as we were walking back, I said to Andy, like, glad I got to do this with you. Like, we I just listened to your pod. He's like, well, just don't take any of my advice. I said,
yeah,
at the very end you said to remember to drink water and wear bug spray. I think I'm going to do that.
yeah. That's
I
good
was like,
advice.
yeah, that is definitely advice worth taking.
Yes.
Was grateful for that, certainly.
So what did you think about there being three tribes instead of two?
That threw me off for sure.
Yeah.
I was definitely I was definitely expecting two. Especially since I knew we were trying to get some more people at the last minute. I was like, there's no way it's going to be 18 people. There's no way it's going to be 3 tribes. I was just like locked in on, okay, 2 tribes, lay low, just, don't make waves and, coast to merge basically. But that very quickly um, was not how it was going to go, and I sort of had to shift my mindset very quickly.
How'd you do that? Because it is there's nowhere to hide in a tribe of six. So what did you do?
Um, yeah,
He's looking at his notes.
can we rewind a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because I just wanted to get to I just wanted to get to the very first the idol that opened the
Yeah.
game.
Yes, yes.
Um, sorry, I like to think very sequentially.
Yeah.
So I may have to like stop and rewind a couple times.
Of course, yeah.
Uh,
You take the lead now, and if I ask a question, just tell me that you could tell me if you want to answer it later or something.
No, I appreciate the questions very much, and
Yeah.
please ask any questions at all. But yeah, I just may have to. That's just sort of
Yeah.
how my brain works. I just have to kind of things have to be in order.
No, I got you.
Um, so okay, so yeah, so we were walking up, we were making our initial connections. Yeah, I was definitely more on my toes in a tribe of six, knowing that okay, this needs to be a cohesive unit. Like if we're in tribes of six, like I'm thinking in new era survivor terms. Like okay, we're riding with this 6 to 12, like to the merge.
Yeah.
So we need it to be a strong unit, and I need to make sure I'm well insulated within this tribe. Um, we get on the mat and immediately Liza's, there's an idol over there. And Allison, Shaylee, and Mary all go run after the idol. I'm going in with the mindset of like, threat level management. I need to really lay low. But it's like two of them tripped on the way there, and I had a very brief moment. It was like, should I just no, don't do that.
So you thought about running.
Um, I very briefly I was tempted, but I didn't do it, and sort of right after I planted my feet solidly on the ground, Dave looks at Kiefer and I goes, "Well, that was easy. Do you guys want to work together?" And of course,
Yes.
yeah, all right, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that became the start of the Flagstaff didn't run for the Idol Alliance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which yeah, I was kind of relieved when Dee Dee came back with it, knowing that we didn't have to contend with it. I was like, okay, this is maybe best case scenario. Like we know where the idol is; it's not here, and Dave put that out there, so at least we have a fallback three if needed.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was an important moment very early on. Um, and I was happy to have something to go on from the beginning. Um, Kiefer and I did the blindfold challenge. The first challenge was the blindfold challenge. And then I don't remember anything else that happened, but Kiefer and I made a nice connection because I felt like we had the same energy going in. We were both had a lot of like excited, like, "Ooh, what's going to happen?" Excited, nervous energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to, especially that he was the one wearing the blindfold. I got to really like reassure him, be like, it's cool, man. Like I got you. Just let's just stay close, man. It's gonna be good. Um, so I got to make a good connection with him early on. I really love working with a team, working with a partner. I played tennis in high school, and I play pickleball a lot with my mom now. So I think that when I'm in, especially a pair, when I'm in a situation like that, it really gives me uh, a lot of ability to make a connection with someone. And I think this came up later on with Amelia. But yeah, I
Yeah.
got to make that connection with Kiefer early. It was nice. Um, we go back to camp after that challenge. And immediately, like I knew I had this connection with Kiefer, but we kind of hang back in the sort of walking up to camp. And I immediately tell Kiefer, I said, I'm not going to talk to you much because if we're seen together, we're going to be seen as a tight duo.
Yeah, you
Uh,
guys were, younger men, the young men of the
exactly.
tribe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Same age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, a couple years ago, I would have been wearing glasses as well. So I was like, okay, this is, Kiefer had major like Carson vibes between the shirt and the glasses. So I was
That's
like,
not the
this
first
is a
time I've heard
dude.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a dude that I really want to work with. Um, but yeah, I sort of put that out there early on, and played out played out in an interesting way. Um, yeah, so I just really I think with a tribe of six. I just wanted to try to make connections with everybody as best as possible. I'm a firm believer that like in any pre-merge game, really, three tribes, two tribes, seven tribes. Like you want tribe harmony, and you want to go into the next phase, whether it's a swap or a merge, with as cohesive a unit as possible.
Hmm.
However many people in your tribe are left, you want them to be cohesive and feel like they're all together, and that there haven't been people left out of votes or things like that. This is something Marianne's Orange Tribe. I don't remember
Yeah.
their name, but they
Yeah.
did a very good job of that. Even though Marianne really was on the outs, um, they had Jackson leave, and then they had a unanimous vote against Mariah. So then they had four, and they stuck together.
Hmm.
And they were, a dominant force in the post merge of that game. So I just really wanted everybody to get along well, and I wanted there to be a plenty of tribe harmony, but also a very clear target if we needed to vote. Um, I made a connection with Allison instantly when she said that she works with kids. That was very
Okay.
easy for us, and I sort of came into the game saying I want my number one to basically be the female identifying player on my starting tribe that is closest to me in age, because we'll be in the middle. We'll be in the middle of ages. We'll be one guy, one girl, just like perfect. And you could not have drawn up a more perfect person than Allison for me to
Oh,
to align with on day one, and I'm very grateful for her. So that yeah, that felt good early on. I thought I recognized her from Outlast, but I genuinely wasn't sure and didn't
yeah.
want to didn't want to press the issue. Um, and yeah, I made had instant connection with Dave as well. Connection early on with Mary, easy to make jokes with her. We did some silly bit early on. We had a couple. We had some jokes here and there. Um, I definitely felt the least connection with Shaylee from the beginning.
Hmm.
One thing I really learned about myself is like definitely like hunting and guns is something that when somebody talks about that, I'm like, "Ooh, that's not me. Like that's a very different person from myself."
Right.
Um, but I sort of learned in getting to know Shaylee more, like, she's an educator as well, and we had so much to joke about, and like we had some very sort of real personal conversations. So I think I learned from her to that when somebody says hunting and guns, it doesn't mean that's their personality.
Yeah.
So I was glad that I made the effort with Shaylee, because yeah, eventually I needed her. Um, I felt so useless at camp. Oh my God.
Oh.
Coming up, and we were like, oh yeah, let's start the fire. Let's make a shelter and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like we were gathering we gathered like leaves to I think the original plan was to lay the leaves on the trees, basically, and sleep on the ground in the trees,
Okay.
um which we didn't end up doing. But I couldn't even get the twigs to snap off the trees. A full Stephen Fishback moment. Allison comes over, is like, nah, you just have to like take it at an angle, and she gives me like a handful of the leaves that she picked off. I was like, oh, okay. I'm glad there are people here looking out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt I didn't feel great to feel like the tribe doofus, that like everybody else had survival skills except me. But at the same time, I saw especially Mary and Allison like making a concerted effort to be like, no, here, it's okay, like do this, you can help us with this.
That's nice.
Um, so yeah, I was very grateful for that, and also happy to be hands off, and uh, definitely don't want to be directing too much early on. So that aligned
Yeah.
with my strategic goals.
Yeah. And you guys had your was it your camp that already had like a
Mud
fire
pit.
pit? Yeah.
No, no, no. That was Moosehead, I think.
Oh,
We had the mud pit that was not one of the camps in season three. It
no,
was
no.
like, yeah, it was like a little roadway that was sort of between the main field and the spot where this huge truck and giant pile of logs were.
Yes.
And we were basically supposed to sleep like beside the truckway, basically.
Wow.
So the place like next to our right around our sleeping area was just a mud pit. Like tire tracks straight through it, ticks everywhere.
Hmm.
Kiefer thankfully was a tick magnet. I think he saved the rest of us. I only had 8 ticks on me
Only
the
8.
first day, which yeah. I mean the season 3 people were like, oh, 8 ticks, that's
That's
nothing.
nothing.
Kiefer probably had high double, double in the teens to maybe low 20s, I would guess. We were
Yikes.
just like constantly,
Mm.
constantly picking ticks off of Kiefer. But the one thing I did take responsibility for, and I'm glad I did this. I immediately took responsibility for the medical kit.
Okay.
So I put it in my bag so that every time somebody had a little cut or needed some ointment or something, it's like, oh, it's okay, like I'm gonna help you out. And
So you
um
you had a reason to talk to people one on one if you had that.
yes, and just I like genuinely, I like helping people that are in a vulnerable moment and show them like, hey, we're here for you, like let's take care of each other, because I think we as humans, we very often take care of other people better than we take care of ourselves.
Hmm.
So I'm the same way. If I have a cut or something, I'll be like, I'm fine. But like really, no, like you should put some ointment on it, put a band-aid on it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give that to other people and be like, hey, Mary, you sliced your hand open pretty good there. Like, let's actually, we can, I know you're very tough and strong, but let's actually, put a band-aid on this. I don't want you to
Yeah.
get some weird infection.
Yeah.
So that became like my one way that I was contributing to the tribe.
Okay. Well, that's something. That's good. So
Yeah, it
what
was it was it was fun days, fun days at Early Flagstaff. I think we all kind of bonded quite well.
so after you set up your camp, you go back for another challenge or two, right? Is that what goes on?
We go back for the lacrosse challenge.
Okay. And how'd you do on that one?
Yeah, so I was the semi unwilling. I This is, I think, the lacrosse challenge was when I
You guys
established
won.
my warrior headband. So when I put in the sort of the kinesthetics of things can kind of help set your mindset up. They talk about this a lot with like sushi chefs tying up the
Mm,
baseball players with their rituals too, like
yes.
doing something um, with your clothes or whatever. A
Hmm.
routine can help you set your mind up for something.
Hmm.
So I think before that challenge, I was like, okay, the challenge is my buff goes here. Everywhere else, it can go anywhere else. But when it's challenge time, my buff is on my forehead.
I like that. Oh, if
Yeah,
I play, I'm gonna do
yeah.
that too. Yeah, I
It's
watch a
it's
lot of
fun.
baseball. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're going to have some really good conversations about baseball in the future, Taylor. I look forward to it. Massive, massive Red Sox fan.
Oh, right
Um,
on. They're my second
um,
favorite team.
yeah, good, good, good. Um, yeah, that lacrosse challenge. I saw it and I was like, okay, well, this is good because this is a height advantage challenge.
Yeah.
Um, so I um I said, okay, well, this is catching things is something I can do. Let's figure out where the other tribes are going to put their like speedy dudes, and I'll go to a different one. And we did that successfully, actually. All
Hmm.
three all three of the Alston boys ended up at the back post. Because I guess that Adam and Topher thought that they were just going to be like bombing them, which is a
Hmm.
reasonable strategy. But I knew I wanted to be in one of the two nearer ones anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said, well, they'll probably either be here or at the back. So I'll put myself at like the side, sort of the side middle one, and it worked out really well. Um, I was matched up with Aaron and Lauren, who have got about, I would say, 7 inches or more on both of them.
Oh shit.
So that
How
helped.
how tall are you, TJ?
6'1".
Okay.
I'm not that tall, but if you get the right matchup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and I just had great I had great communication. I was making eyes at Allison, which came into play multiple times in this game.
Okay.
And would point. I would make sure to keep all the signs, keep all the like a catcher, keep all the signs where nobody else can see them. Keep
Yeah.
them in front of my chest so that the other people behind me can't see that I'm pointing. Like, okay, like up
Beautiful.
here or over there. And yeah, Allison was hitting the target. I dropped a couple, but I got the first two. Um, which was yeah a very very good feeling to especially early on to feel like like I contributed to a tribal
Hmm.
challenge. I'm like it's a delicate balance because I don't want to be seen as a challenge threat, but I also want my tribe to value me as a
Yes.
challenge competitor.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, this is a good balance. Like second challenge, we'll have a bunch more challenges that I can screw up between now and the merge. Like, so I think that was a helpful moment and may have helped keep a target off me in those first couple of votes. And I was very grateful that Dave caught the last one, so I didn't have to catch all three and be like the super MVP.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a really really good feeling, that challenge.
Awesome. And then so you guys get to go on a you get to choose who goes on a journey after that.
Yes, so that was right, that challenge we won. Yeah, we won the journey, and I just wanted no part of it. Like I wanted
Yeah.
no part of any group decisions, no part of like uh ordering anybody around, especially when there were already people that were like, I want to go. I knew I do not want to go, especially after just performing in a challenge. So I was completely hands off on that, really.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, we basically I think three people. I think Mary, Shaylee, and I think it was the girls again. Yeah, I think Mary, Shaylee, and Allison all picked sticks. Maybe Kiefer picked a stick too. I don't actually remember.
I know
Um,
Dave had like got the sticks. Did Dave want to go on the journey?
I don't think I would imagine Dave had the savvy to not
Yeah.
go on the first journey.
I think you're
Um,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was three or four of us picked sticks, and yeah, Mary got the stick to go. So we did it. We did it with a random draw system, but I made sure to keep myself out of this journey.
Yeah.
Um, and then basically after we decided Mary was going, we let Mary. I think Mary basically said like, I want Aaron. Like, he seems like a cool guy. Like, okay, sure. And I honestly don't remember how Lauren came about.
Yeah.
But yeah, those three ended up going on the journey, and then that journey took a very very long time.
Hmm.
So we had plenty of time back at camp, and um, we already had an idea of how Mary wanted to play the game. I think she had probably already told us at this point that hey, like if somebody has to get voted out, like we should just be out in the open. Like we don't need to like go behind each other's backs. And we were
Oh
like,
shit.
the shot in the dark is like,
Oh no.
um. So yeah, I think
Oh,
that
goodness.
unfortunately for Mary, I think that was maybe the end of her game already going on that journey, because we basically had 4 hours without her to just be like, I remember I would always be speaking in code, be like, well, if we have to go, like we know what we have to do, right? We gotta do what we gotta do, right? And then everybody would say, Mary, I'm like, yeah, of course, yes.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
yeah,
Mary
so
had
there
never
was,
seen Survivor. Was that obvious?
she said she told us that she had seen season one. So it was, yeah, it was fascinating. It was fascinating to see how she felt about the whole thing, and about like the shot, and about how votes should be constructed and stuff like that. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like seeing someone in a time portal sort of reacting to
Yeah.
Survivor, you know? And she's so cool and so funny and
Yes.
interesting. That it was, yeah, it was a delight. It was a delight to have her on the tribe.
So, okay, so she picks who goes on the journey with her. You guys are alone for several hours. but you win the next uh challenge, which was an immunity. Oh no, it was another reward one after that.
Yeah, we
Gosh,
had, I
what a
think,
long
I
day.
don't know how many. I honestly don't remember the third, fourth, however many more reward challenges there
You're
were.
shooting BB
Oh,
gun,
shooting one, yeah, with yeah, Shaylee and Mary on the guns. That was cool.
and
I
then
think
you
we
had
got
the tug of
second.
war.
We got second in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up. It was like a very clear. It was a very clear hierarchy by the end of the reward challenges. It was like Sebago went like first, second, first, first.
Mm-hmm.
We were like we were like second, first, third, second. We were like clearly in the middle.
Yeah.
And Moosehead was, yeah, like third, second, third, second, something like
Okay.
that. So yeah, I think that the coin totals and just sort of how we felt about both tribes was starting to be established then. Um, and yeah, after that long wait, we get to the challenge. We see that Dee Dee had left the game, which was very unfortunate.
Right.
Um, and yeah, led to a lot of speculation. What happened on the journey? What happened with Dee Dee's idol? But yeah, but first we had the tug of war challenge, which was the defining moment of the Flagstaff tribe. I will say.
Okay. Tell me
um,
more.
yeah, so we had our first round. We when we were strategizing, we were debating using the Squid Game strategy of like let them pull and then fall down and then just yank
Yes.
them over. We were all kind of like, I don't know, like I don't feel so good about that. I don't know how to execute it. Bless you.
Thank you.
Um, and we decided to not go with that. And we were like, okay, traditional, like strong and back. Um, Shaylee very obviously very strong. So first off, we put Shaylee in back, farm girl, main girl strength. Um, and we ended up with Shaylee, Mary, me, and then Dave and Kiefer. We lose our first one to Moosehead,
Oh.
and we're like, oh no, this is because we've got we know basically we have to beat Big Bad Sebago with Adam and Seth and lots of
Yeah.
tenacity and strength there. Um, So yeah, then sure enough, Sebago beats Moosehead, and we're like, oh God, here we go. Like being felt like we were walking up to our doom, like Harry Potter going into the forest. um, but we're like, all right, well that didn't work last time, so why don't we just flip the line? I think Dave was the anchor, um, and then Kiefer, and then me, Shaylee, Mary. Um, and we just pulled it out on pure adrenaline. Like I think if you look at those two tribes next to each other, um, yeah, I think we had no business beating them. But we knew they're just fighting to win the challenge, but we knew this is do or die. Like this is our one of our lives in the game is on the line right now because we knew it wasn't going to be Allison's.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, we just dug our heels in and fought out a really hard-earned victory to force overtime.
So then you had to face off against Moosehead again? Is that?
Yeah, so then
Yeah.
we just ran the whole thing over again basically because everybody was 1-1.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I was
Yeah,
wondering what he meant by tie. At Addison didn't
right.
give notes. Yeah.
Everybody
Okay.
everybody had won one and lost one at that point, so we just ran it back.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that was yeah, iconic victorious moment for the Flagstaff tribe. I'm sure I shouted my head off after we
Yeah.
won that one. It gave Kiefer a big hug, and we all had a big group hug after that. But then yeah, we run it back, and we had to go right again. So I was kind of like, oh, like they just had a chance to rest. This is and they already beat us once. Like this is a tough matchup for us. But we kept our line that we had. The against Sebago, and we crushed them. We just immediately beat Moosehead in the
Nice.
um in the second round. So we were feeling good, and then Sebago beats Moosehead, and we know we're immune, and we no longer had our super adrenaline strength. So yeah, we lose the last round of the tug of war. So they get more coins.
Coins, yeah.
But yeah, and I think this was one of a few instances in which I felt like I was able to help a little bit with a bit of intention. Before the challenge, I was saying, all right, like visualize a win, like visualize just that row, visualize that other tribe going down. And as we were doing it, like I started quiet at first because I didn't want to be like, the loud guy, but I was like, 1, 2, 3, pull, 1, 2, 3, pull. And
Mm.
by the end of it, it's 1, 2, 3. And yeah, I was glad, and I felt like that we every time we did a 1, 2, 3 pull, we made progress. So I feel like I was glad to be able to help the tribe in that way.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So that means that you got to sleep peacefully, not having to
Yeah.
scramble and vote anyone out. But I know because I started watching some footage, obviously,
Cool.
you and mostly from I haven't watched that much. You for sure were doubting Mary's story about the journey.
Yeah, so that's when we got back to camp. Basically the first thing after, yeah, we had the like camp items purchase went very smoothly. We all said okay, priority number one is fire, priority number two is food. And they
Mm-hmm.
came back um with flint and steel, a pot, and rice. We're like, okay, great.
Perfect. Yeah.
um but yeah, so then immediately we get story time for Mary. And Mary was just not really the details always kind of changed around with Mary's story. I think she tried to keep it a bit close to the vest at the beginning, but sort of as the night went on, she kept adding in more details,
Hmm.
um, rather than telling the whole story up front. So yeah, we were very suspicious, and just not really sure of what her of if she was telling the truth, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely wasn't just you because I know I watched Dave's confessional from that night and he didn't believe any of that either. But then Allison was like, "Oh yeah, I totally believe Mary. I don't she has no reason to lie." I think Allison just got Mary, maybe. Maybe Allison just like understood Mary's personality and other people were like,
Yeah.
"This is the game. Mary must be playing the game." And Mary wasn't playing the game, you know.
She was playing a game. I don't know if
Not
Surviving Maine
Survivor.
was the game that she was playing, but yeah, she was playing her own game. um, yeah, so eventually, the story kind of concluded. So, yeah, it was like the first thing she said. Well, that was the what she was really throwing Lauren all the way under the bus.
Yeah.
She was throwing Lauren under a 747.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, she hated
she,
Lauren. She hated
yeah,
Lauren.
she really was not into the whole Lauren thing. But that's what we didn't understand is she was saying what really didn't make sense to me as a strategic thinker. She
Yes.
was saying, "Oh, this Lauren girl, like she said she was going to do it, and then she tricked us. She didn't do it." And so in my mind, I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
It
Like,
doesn't. Yeah.
if it, I'm thinking in terms of, Risky Rock, Advantage Island, how, the way
The
they've been
wheel,
doing the
yeah.
trees in the new era,
Hmm.
um, of, risk or protect. So obviously in the risk or protect scenario, the sort of, the game theory optimal response is to say, oh, I'm going to protect, I think we should all just protect, and then you
Yep.
risk, basically.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that what she said Lauren did was completely the opposite. It's like, why? I'm in my head, I'm saying, why on earth? And I think I expressed this to others as well. Why on earth would Lauren say she was going to risk and then protect? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. That's the
Um,
footage that I watched. You saying that to several people. Yeah.
yeah,
Because it
that was
doesn't
that
make
was
sense. Yeah.
the number one. That was the number one sticking point for me.
Hmm.
Um,
But it was
and
all true.
as
It was all
yes,
true.
yes, as we are already sort of, as we've had 4 hours more or less, as a just total guess, actually, a long time to just say Mary's name to each other with five of us
Yeah.
at camp.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it was 3 hours. You're close. It was
it
3 hours.
was 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it was a long time. And Mary has come back from the journey with seemingly no vote and a sketchy story.
Yes.
She,
you have no choice. It would be stupid to not vote her out.
yeah, she also
Oh no.
says, "Hey, I found this deer bone in the woods." And like I saw like one of the other idols is a deer bone. I guess I don't know. I guess we later learned that Aaron had told her that Dee Dee's idol was a deer bone.
Oh my god.
So she's like, we gotta make a fake idol out of this. We're all sitting around the fire like,
Oh no. What's she doing?
what chaos have you brought to the peaceful Flagstaff tribe?
Oh boy.
Um, yeah, we're all asking her questions like, oh, what do you think? Like, what do you want to do with that? And at one point we decide, okay, it's gonna be a fake idol. Like we're gonna make it look so bad that like, and then try to convince one of the other tribes that like their tribe mate is trying to is trying to like get them to find a fake idol, something like that. At one point, Mary was very good with the charcoal. Later came into place at the edge.
Oh yeah.
Um, at one point, she wrote like legit idol on the deer bone.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was great. I at one point say, "What's what's the objective of this?" And Mary says, "Fun." And I think at that point we were all like, "Ha ha, okay, all right, good." Like
Yeah. Yeah.
at least we're all on the same page here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god.
Um, but yeah, Mary spent a lot of time by herself.
Yes.
She
Another
was always
mistake.
on she was on different little like foraging missions and trying to find the carrots. It was amazing finding
Yeah.
wild carrots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, yeah, we sort of are starting to settle in for the night. Um, we got our phone for, like any rogue confessionals that you want to do, but we can't unlock it.
Oh shit.
Um, and so we're trying to go around at night. And of course, Allison started the fire. And actually, when no, who started the fire? I think Mary started the first fire, actually. I don't remember. This is another thing where I was very much like, keep me
Mm-hmm.
out of this. You guys have your fun. Not that
Mm-hmm.
I could start it anyway. um, but yeah, we're all around the fire, and of course, one of us goes, "Oh, yeah, like we can just take little planks and yeah, just use it like a torch." And Dave almost burns the entire camp down.
Oh.
You haven't seen this yet?
No.
Yeah, we pick. I think maybe Allison picked up the first one, and it was like moderately successful. And then Dave picks up like a bigger one. I think they were going to find something or going to use the bathroom or something. Dave picks up a bigger one. He gets 3 steps away from the fire, and then the thing just like falls apart, and there are flames everywhere.
Shit.
There's like 4 different flames scattered around the ground, like the grass is on fire.
Oh my
Um,
wow.
but eventually, Dave was very savvy. He gets, stomps it out. um, and after it all settles, me and Shaylee are just standing on the other side of the fire. And Shaylee goes, "We were over here and take no responsibility for what just happened."
Yes. Good Shaylee.
Yeah, that was a good Shaylee connection moment, and I
Mm.
appreciated her very much in that moment. It was very funny. Uh, um, not long after that, production came with like a jug of water.
Okay. Yeah.
This is emergency water, just in case. And we were like, Did they just bring that because Dave almost burned the entire field down? Yeah, we love that.
Absolutely.
Yes, that
Yes.
is why. Yes.
Oh man. Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that was another a big moment at night one Flagstaff.
So then the next day, uh,
Did not sleep at all.
you didn't sleep at all?
Mary and I got planks to make a nice like straight. We thought it would be better to sleep on the to sleep on like relatively dry. We found like these big boards basically.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we figured that would be better than sleeping on the ground. It'd be dry and it'd be straight. I hurt my neck like 5 days before the game.
Mm,
So I was still like really worried about that and really wanted to like lay on something straight. But it was not comfortable at all. And like
mm.
every time either Mary or I moved, it would like mess up the whole.
Uh,
I felt like we were in an old married we were like an old married
yeah.
couple. Every time Mary would move, fucking Mary, I'm gonna sleep. um, but I when I got up finally after not sleeping,
Hmm.
um, which was still beautiful. I'm still like I had my buff over my eyes, and every now and then I'd just be like, I'm in Maine. I'm on
Yeah.
Survivor.
So
The
many stars.
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful in spite of not sleeping at all. But yeah, it was like I it got cold that first night too. It got down to like 45, I think.
Damn.
And just at the point where my feet were really cold, and I was like, "Whoa, no, this is bad." I started to see first light, so I was like, "All
Okay.
right, we're gonna make it." But
Yeah.
it definitely set me up to be a little more brain dead from day two onwards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Allison and Shaylee slept like on top of each other in like a corner. Shaylee's the only one of us that slept. Shaylee was the first to bed. We had to like wake her up. She was just out.
No way.
I could sleep like that when I was 22. Sometimes
Right.
I can these days, but not in the woods.
Yeah, it's amazing what like teenagers and people in their early 20s, like early, because Shaylee's 20, right? She's like
Shaylee's 20. Yeah.
basically a teenager still. So yeah, it's amazing what they can do.
Yeah. She had this huge like military grade sleeping bag too, and she just got in the whole thing. It was great. I was very happy for her. But yeah, so Allison and yeah, and they said they like ran into each other in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And but those two sleeping together, we knew um this is a tight duo. You
Hmm.
know, it's just they were right next to each other. We were
When
like,
you
okay, we have to
who's
be aware of this.
who's we? You and Dave?
Uh I guess just yeah. I
Like,
mean,
come on, be honest.
yeah, I was aware of it. I don't know if I had a conversation to that effect with anybody really.
Okay.
But I was like, yeah, okay, these two are in lockstep. I need
Yeah.
to, they're not going to. I think that Shay may stray Allison away from me as well, so that like this is something I have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and that very first morning, of course, I'm up the whole time. When I hear Allison get up, Allison, I think I was the only one that saw it. Allison starts the fire in like 2 minutes.
Mm.
I was like, gee, ooh, okay, wow. um, and yeah, I did get to lead a little tribe stretching. I didn't get to do a full yoga class that I may have that I had maybe hoped to do at some point. But we kept it nice and casual and tried to, get loose for the challenges, but some good that did.
Oh no. Oh yeah, because you lose the
Both of
first
them.
one.
Yes.
Oh,
we
that's
we
right.
had two more immunity challenges that day and we lost both of them.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So
Um,
that first tribal then is an easy one.
yeah, Mary and the other thing with Mary, it's just like a list of the reasons that Mary had to be voted out. She was also she's making it so clear, like, man, Aaron's such a great guy. Like we really got along well. He's like my kind of dude. And we were like, all
Oh,
right, well, Mary's number one ally is on a different tribe. So
yes.
that's not good. That's not what we
Yes.
want. Um, yeah, so that first immunity challenge, it was balance, running, and then a puzzle. So I was like, well, I'm useless. Um, yeah, Mary was very sad to see Aaron go. That Aaron was gone. Um, so yeah, myself and Shay sat out. But that gave us an opportunity to talk to Zach and Maddie on the sit out bench,
Okay.
and we corroborated Mary's journey story. So
Okay.
at that point, we knew she was telling the truth. And after a brief, little look around, idle search as well. Um, yeah, we knew we had the info that what Mary said about the journey was true, basically.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and we also knew that there was one idol and one at least one advantage at Moosehead that we did not know where they were. So that wasn't we didn't know if they'd gone out of the game or if something had happened to them. And we had no idea. So that was
Are
also
you sure about that? I don't know. Dee
yeah.
Dee.
Well, we knew Dee Dee had an idol, and we knew Aaron had something, and both of them are out of the game. So we hoped basically. I think we were all probably saying to
I
each
see.
other like, "It's fine. Like it went out of the game.
Yeah.
No problem."
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Okay.
But clearly that was not the case.
No. Wow.
um,
Yeah, yeah, you would have been looking like, well, they must be re-hidden somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking in all the wrong places. I was always like poking around, like, oh, like I'm gonna go pee, and then take a little like 5 minute lap around at camp. Um, I always scouring the voting booth every single
Yeah.
time. It was at least, yeah. I felt bad. I felt bad wasting George's time every single time, never finding anything.
He was
Um,
just earlier today telling me like I had to watch every single person in the voting booth to look for an idol.
I think next season you might have to do what CBS does and just be like, "There's no idols at tribal council. You cannot do not look for idols at tribal council. They're not
Well,
here."
but that's the thing is that they
But it's fun to put them there.
every single season there is one there, so
Yes.
it's the easiest
You-
place to put them.
yeah, yeah. You can't exactly. It's all sorts of things to be found in that shed, but I only really managed to found playing cards and discarded Mountain Dews and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first challenge loss was brutal. That was the backwards S. Like Kiefer more or less solved the puzzle,
Oh
but
no.
it was like there was a piece that said is, and it was like I over here, S over here, and like he needed to flip it, so it was
Oh
I and S together.
shit.
Yeah, so we felt it was we had very mixed feelings after that challenge. We felt rather gypped.
Mm.
But we also like I at that stage I did not mind going to tribal council. I was like, we know exactly what's going to happen. We
Yeah.
can solidify this five. Forged in fire, as they say. We can all vote together. It'll be really easy, and we have five stronger going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a strange thing. And I think one thing I learned about myself, poker helps me deal with variance well. I
Mm-hmm.
think there was a lot of variance and a lot of things just going left and right in the rest of my game. So yeah, just losing a challenge on a technicality, I think I was very much like whatever. What will happen will happen.
Okay.
Yeah, we walked back to camp. We're already confirming Mary's name. Um, but we're wondering what Mary's going to say and do, as we always were. Um,
And she
um,
forgot that she lost her vote and was telling Kiefer she was going to vote him out, right?
yeah, I don't know if she forgot or if she just like thought that she was,
She legit
trying
forgot.
to direct the. She straight up forgot. Wow. Okay. Well, that explains. Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, she's telling everybody different things. And basically the whole round, we were very professional about like, okay, let's go in twos and then mix it up. Um, and yeah, the whole strategizing round being like, okay, what did Mary say to you? And it's usually like, she told me Dave or Shaylee, and then somebody else, she told me TJ, and somebody's like, no,
What?
she told me it was me. Like, what?
Oh
We,
no.
yeah, what is going on?
Oh my
How is
god.
this? Yeah, finally, she comes up to me. She says, like, I can't vote for one of the girls, and I can't vote for Dave. Just really, I can't do that to Dave. I'm like, why not? Oh, so it's between you and Kiefer. I'm like, well, okay. And I'm like, well, I've proven myself in challenges, and I'm okay if it has to be Kiefer. Just trying to, placate her.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, right? And goes right over to Kiefer and tells Kiefer, like, hey, buddy, like, sorry, like, I think it should be you. And from that moment onward, Kiefer was just sketched out.
Yeah.
Kiefer did not after yeah, from that round of strategizing, Kiefer was like, I'm sure I would have reacted the same way if somebody comes up to me, tells me, "Hey, it's you." I would have not, would not have felt great going into the rest of the game. But yeah, I
So,
Mary, go ahead.
do you think then that was it like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or was it that
Yes.
Mary had put his name out there, or was it his fault that he got too sketched out because of it and that's why he went? Like, who would it have been?
I think all of the above. Um, yeah, I think the falling vote, and yeah, the Mary vote was very straightforward, um, which I was grateful for. And then I really was not expecting to go again with this tribe because I was saying, okay, we're down to 15. Swap could be coming,
Yeah.
could be merge or mergatory at 13. Like the odds of this five going to tribal again are actually like pretty low. So I wasn't even really thinking all that
Mm.
much about going again. But yeah, then immediately we go back to the challenge and we lose on a puzzle again. I named this challenge SpongeBob reference of the inner machinations of Dave's mind are an enigma.
I am not familiar with SpongeBob, but I'm sure that was hilarious.
um yeah, Dave, so in that challenge, Dave identified, he said, like, I think I've seen this puzzle before. It's like the T pieces in the corner, you got to do that. We did great on the physical part. I had fun with all, like, our legs all banded together. But yeah, Dave is doing like the Tony Vlachos on the slide puzzle in Cagayan, just like
Yikes.
rifling things everywhere. And like as we every time we feel like we're making progress, and me and Allison are like, I think this one's good. He's like, no, it's wrong.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, and just going through like every time we felt like we had something in place, he would change it. And I know that like a lot of survivor puzzles like are designed to like they're designed to look right, but they're not. So you do have to do that. And maybe that's what we had to do, and we just never like got lucky enough to find the right combination.
But it
Um,
seemed like Dave was fucking it up.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. Um, he was definitely like he put himself out there to lead the puzzle because he felt like he'd seen it before, and I know Dave studied the puzzles a lot. So I'm glad he took that initiative and put himself in that position, so I didn't have to. Um, but yeah, so we lose that, and we're all like completely different vibe for this one because the first one we all knew it was
Yeah.
going to happen. And this one we've just lost Mary, and it's 2-3 hours later and we have to vote again. We're all like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is the yeah, roughest time for the Flagstaff tribe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
um and yeah, I was, yeah, just very disappointed that we didn't get it done.
And so
um
at this point, you want to work with Allison, right? Still.
yes.
And who did you have? And then you probably got along with Dave well because you both think strategically.
Yeah, Dave and I definitely had a connection, and Dave's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
And we had great banter. So I definitely, yeah, I definitely felt like I wanted that to be the core three. But I also knew we were, unfortunately, there was sort of an undercurrent of gender-based alliances. And
Yes.
it wasn't really based on gender. It was based on three that didn't run after the idol and two that slept next to each other on the first night, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
Um, but I saw that and I immediately said in my head, this is not how it's going to happen. We
Hmm.
we get back to we get back to camp. Um, and myself, Dave, and Kiefer, I think we probably got together before we officially started kind of breaking off, and we confirmed Shaylee's name. Like I think it was no secret that we were all. I think definitely Dave and I were closer. Had been trying to make inroads with Allison. Um, and it was no secret that Shaylee was going to live and die for Allison. Like Shaylee was never going to be anyone's number one except Allison.
Uh-huh.
So that was like the clear name that we were going to put out there. But I knew this whole round, like I'm not, I can't let this happen, basically. Um,
I have in the notes that you did not want a gender alliance happening. So was it, yeah, keep going.
I'm very versed in Survivor history and
Yeah.
know this trend that's especially it's really gotten worse in recent
Yes.
seasons. Um, and I came into the game basically telling myself, um, I will not. If such a situation arises, I will do everything I can to make sure that there is not voting based on gender lines, and if there's an initiative to even out gender numbers, I will be on the side of yes, let's even out the numbers
Yep.
because yeah, there's an unfortunate trend and part of the it's part of the game design really I think of modern Survivor. But I knew, we're playing a game for fun for no money. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not worth being an asshole, you know?
Yes, thank you. You're a hero, and I will give you hero music for this episode 4.
For that one, I don't know if I'll be getting the hero music for some of the rest of the stuff that I
No,
did.
you won't. But you get it for this one.
But yeah, I yeah, immediately, yeah, it was no secret that we were trying to get together with Allison. Allison has the loyal soldier,
Yeah.
and I believe this is when after that conversation, I go straight to Allison. I say, I want you to be my number one. We're in the middle age wise. We're both teachers, one guy, one girl. It's perfect. Like, let's
Yeah.
just do this. She goes, oh, thank you. I would have preferred like hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. Allison, what you doing?
She placated me at least.
Uh-huh.
Um, um, and I felt good with her. And I said to her, I refuse to let this be guys versus girls. I'm willing to vote for one of them. Like, let's just you and me just pick one of the two of them right now. Um, it's obvious that Kiefer is the target.
Mm,
Um, I don't know who said his name first, but it was almost unspoken. I feel like,
mm.
and I was all right with that because I felt like at this point I had as much inroads with Dave as I had with Kiefer.
Yeah.
And it just seemed pretty clear that we were the core three that were trying to work together, and we were the three that knew the game the best as
Yeah.
well. So I was trying to make this. It was clear that it was either Shaylee or Kiefer, I think.
Hmm.
Um, I am starting to get worried, especially with what Mary said to me of I can't do that to Dave, can't vote for Dave. I'm getting worried that maybe Dave is closer with Allison and Shaylee than I am, and that I would need to be worried if we were to go again. So that was definitely in the back of my mind. But
Mm.
I think what I had going into the game of saying, I'm not going to vote based on gender lines, like that would be yucky, and I don't want that to happen. overrid anything else that was going on there.
Do you
Um,
think, I mean, I know that this is moot because he plays a shot in the dark and is safe, but do you think that it may have been smarter for you to get Dave out at that point?
um,
Because he was working more closely with Allison.
he definitely was, and I think that the way he came off so sketch, um, in that round made me feel a little better. Like
Okay.
we might, if we go again, that it might be Dave. Honestly, I didn't even really consider it that much.
Mm,
It was one of a couple times in the game where my mindset was just do whatever Allison says. Like I don't
okay.
care. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
do whatever Allison says.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that made sense for you in the moment. Yeah.
yeah, and also in terms of threat level management, let her be
Yeah.
the shot caller.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I didn't really consider targeting Dave really. I wanted harmony with Allison and Shaylee. Um, and yeah, I had a I had a very funny conversation with Dave that round after we had more or less already made the plan.
Yeah.
It was like the last round. Dave comes up to me and goes, "Okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, how fucked is Dave right now?"
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know, Dave. Like, I wonder. I don't know. Like, what is a scale of 0 to like a 1 or a 2? I guess. He doesn't believe me. He's like, it's me, it's okay. Like, I know, like I flubbed the puzzle. I'm like, dude, like, we're the swing votes.
Yeah.
We're actually, I think we're in the middle on this one. He's like, really? And then he asked for he's like, well, who are you voting for? I'm like, I think we have to vote for Kiefer. He's like, all right, like as long as it's not me. Um, so that made me
Huh.
feel a little better.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, I'm surprised that Dave still played his shot in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was lying to Dave there, I would tell him Shaylee,
Exactly. That,
you
yeah.
know? So I would think that I'm sure he was just probably like on multiple occasions in the swap just felt like, oh, it's me. I gotta do, gotta play my
Mm-hmm.
shot, I gotta do whatever. And that's probably how he was feeling after flubbing the puzzle. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think maybe he could have saved a shot there, but he still got a fun moment out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's cool that he got safe. First person
well,
ever on
yeah,
Surviving Maine. Yeah.
yeah. The crazy thing was we walk up to tribal, and from tribal we see three tribe colors on the next challenge. We see three posts, one with green, one with teal, one with blue. I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking, fuck, we're gonna have to do this challenge with what, me, Allison, Dave, and Shaylee.
Yeah.
And if we lose, I'm like definitely in trouble. Like maybe it's not me, but I'm definitely in like trouble.
Yeah, I guess you
Whereas
might have
if
been, huh? Yeah.
whereas if I believe I would have been in a lot of trouble, even more than I thought at the time.
Right.
um, um, and in my mind, I was just really like tense as we were standing there. I was thinking for a good 2 minutes about switching it to Shaylee, like as we were in the line, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do this last minute thing. I'm not going to do a gender alliance. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going to.
It's a good thing because it would have been tied. And what then what? Well, it would have been really exciting, but but you
Yeah,
didn't fuck anyone over, so good for you.
yeah. I guess if I don't know, Dave probably still would have played his shot,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's tied, and yeah, and then I just cave because I'm not going to rocks. So
Yeah.
it's really bad.
Yeah. No good.
um so yeah,
And
it worked out well, and yeah, first solid blindside. Kiefer doesn't even play his shot.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, we get him what I guess, yeah, through 3-1 with Dave being safe. And
Yeah.
Dave playing his shot also made me feel a little better. Like, oh, okay, well, I can chuck Dave under the bus for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, sure enough, um, yeah, glad to have another successful vote, and feel like I'm continuing this mission of, tribal harmony as much as possible, unanimous votes to move on to the next
Yeah.
stage of the game. And sure enough, that those three colors were a good old fake out, and it's time to
Yes.
drop the pups.
Yeah, you got scared for no reason. Of course you're gonna get faked out.
Yeah,
Drop the pup.
it was a very good fake out.
So were you relieved then when that it was the swap?
At that point, yeah. At the point where we were down to four, yeah, because I figured, my overarching strategy was really to lay low as much as possible, and I felt pretty confident in my ability to navigate the pre-merge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as we spoke in our pre-game interview, I was also very afraid of getting swap screwed. Um,
Yes.
so when
And you were.
I pull this pretty green buff, and I see Shaylee. Shaylee has green, and Allison and Dave have blue. I'm like, already okay. This is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I'm swapped with the one person I had the least connection with.
Yeah.
And then
Good
I
thing you didn't write
see
her name down though, right? Good thing you didn't write
no.
her
At
name.
least, yeah. It could have been worse. It
Yeah.
it, it, it could have been worse. Um, and then I see four Sebagos in a tribe of seven, and the other two are Shaylee and Amelia, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this
Ouch.
is the end.
But
And
you make it through.
so started the quest of scrambling villainous TJ.
Okay. Loves it. Okay. Oh, you go on a
Definitely,
journey. You go on a
yeah,
journey. Okay.
definitely the most fun. Well, before I went on the journey, Amelia almost died.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
school challenge.
yeah, so we get off New Moosehead to a rip roaring start. That we have to do the spool challenge. And yeah, I'm sure Amelia will tell you all about it. But it was just very slow going. It was very hard. I'm pretty sure last season they were allowed to touch the sides. Just saying. I don't
They
know.
were. Yeah.
Maybe we should have been allowed to touch the sides, especially
Oh,
because it was hot out.
when I found out that Liza changed the rules to that they couldn't touch the sides, like I was so upset. I was like, that challenge took so long and they could touch the sides. What are you
Yeah.
doing to these poor people?
You were probably like, did anybody die? And
Yeah.
Liza was like, yeah,
Yes,
almost.
actually, someone died. Yes, poor Amelia.
But yeah, she was having a rough time from the beginning. Yeah, and it was really slow going. Me and Seth were pushing the spool, and Adam was the spotter. And yeah, we didn't do a great job because it was just so hard to focus too because we were going so slow. There were as was at least twice where we dropped like so close to the barrier that we were like, she like
Yeah,
it counts, and they were like,
yeah.
no, no, go back. Um, and that was really rough. And yeah, Amelia, like on the way over, said like, I'm feeling lightheaded. And
Mm.
we said, take a break, we take a breather. She's like, all right, I'm good, I'm good. She fought for so long
Oh,
after already like experiencing, severe discomfort. And on the way back, this is 15, 20 minutes probably after she said, I'm feeling lightheaded. At one point, she says, I feel like I'm going to pass out.
shit.
And that's when we get her down. I say, medical. Thankfully, Liza stops the challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got Amelia to sit down and hopefully feel better. And I made sure to tell her, um, you're a warrior. You fought so hard. Like, you gave it everything you had. Like, don't feel one bit bad about this. Like, take a deep breath, take a rest. Like, you did what you had to do, and you fought till literally you felt like you were going to pass out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I
Is
was
that, do you think that's when you built a relationship with her? Yeah.
absolutely yes. Um, I think, yeah, just like I said before about, making sure I was in charge of the medical kit.
Yes.
Um, I think that when you can help someone um in a vulnerable moment, It's, it's when when you need someone the most. And I think it's very important to be a good friend, a good ally, a good tribe mate, anything when somebody really needs some love and support. So I was happy to provide that for Amelia because I knew if it was me in a similar situation, I would be all kinds of upset and distraught and exhausted, So I was glad to be there to support her.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay.
Um, he was debating leaving after that experience,
Oh my God.
and I was having very mixed feelings about this because I was like, okay, well, here's an out for me, basically. Um, she said at one point she was like, but like I really like, I wouldn't want to just quit. Like you guys can vote me out, and most everybody else is like, no, we don't have to. But I'm like, if you want a hero's exit, we will give you a hero's exit. Um, but she eventually she comes around, says she wants to stay, and
Good.
in at the base of things, we're all happy for her and glad that she's pulled through and she's feeling better.
But you're not that happy. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
I'm 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 very worried to the point that after we regroup and everything, yeah, Sebago has also won the right to choose two people for a journey. And
Hmm.
the moment Liza says journey, I look over at Allison like the Cheshire cat. Hey. And she, we do our signals again. Um, so then I don't know. They have some sort of discussion, and Lauren pops out, like flying, like, oh no. And then they go, wait, you already went on a journey. No, no, no. I'm like, okay, good. And then eventually Allison emerges and says, I'm going on the journey. Who's going on the journey with you? TJ. Yes.
That's so
um,
interesting. So did Allison get to choose you, or did she have to convince her tribe to
I
choose
don't know. I haven't gotten that from Allison yet, but I'm sure she would provide some insight on that.
you? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm glad. I mean, Allison had sway. In any group, any alliance she was in, Allison had sway throughout the game with a
Hmm.
number of people. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind that Allison would have had the pull at that point to, if she wanted to go with me to make that happen.
She played very well. Okay. So what happens on this journey? I have no idea.
Um, yeah, we're chatting. Before we do the journey, she discloses that she knows Sandra from Outlast
Okay.
and says, go ahead and leverage that. Like I know Sandra. Um, and so I say, okay, great. Like that's a good option. And obviously, we're both fans of the show. She says, I know, like obviously we have to give you the thing here. I'm gonna, if it's a risk protect, I'm gonna protect and you risk. No brainer.
Hmm.
Um, um, we had discussed. She also said, if it's a challenge, I'll just throw it and let you get the thing. Um, I go up and then I read it and I read that it's not, that if one person risks and the other protects, it's not you just get it, it's you have to do a challenge against the
Yeah.
clock.
Yeah.
So I have a sliver of hope here that Allison had maybe risked and then was going to throw the challenge so I get the thing to make sure I get the thing.
So
um
she got to read that before she said, well, why wouldn't
no,
she
no,
just
no,
do
no, no, no. We had our discussion and then we had to each go independently.
it? Yeah.
And she said, if it's a risk protect, I'll protect and you risk, so you get the thing. But yeah, so she went first and then I went second. Obviously, I risk, and she goes, you got this. You'll do great. I'm like, oh God, okay, I got to do the
Mm.
thing. And I wouldn't expect, um, as I told her afterwards, I wouldn't expect her to give up her vote for me, especially when
Right.
she's in a she's in a 3-2-2, I think, two
Right.
Flagstaff, two Moosehead, and three Sebago.
So
So I would
just as
just would
vulnerable.
never,
Yeah.
yeah, would never expect her to actually give up her vote for me,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
Um, but I was really hoping she would. So yeah, I have to do a challenge against the clock, and it's like a mini version of the log maze.
Oh,
Um, and I fail.
all
Not
right.
by much. Not by much, but
But you lost your vote.
puzzles are not my thing at all. I don't do puzzles. I've always had an issue with like spatial relationships and things like
Um,
that, which came into play later in the game as well.
oh,
Um, I actually, as a child, I was diagnosed with a nonverbal learning disorder, which is
oh,
this. It's just this like very nondescript diagnosis that's like it's still not even in the DSM.
oh,
Um, but it's just basically like it says like to trouble socially integrating, trouble with spatial relationships or yeah, coordination sometimes, and taking a long time to do things, slower processing, which was definitely a thing.
oh,
And the point of that diagnosis was to get me more time on tests in high school and more time on the SAT, which was nice. But I think the definitely the like trouble with spatial relationships thing I've definitely seen in my life, and things like yeah, puzzles and tangrams just make my brain go like oh,
okay.
no. So yeah, I knew going in that puzzles were not going to be my strong suit, and I wish I had practiced it more, but probably giving myself 12 jet lagged days to get ready probably wasn't going to help very much. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was disappointed to fail that puzzle, and at that point I pretty much felt like this is the end. I have lost my vote and I am the clear target. This is it.
So I guess we'll talk about the theatrics you pulled in the voting booth momentarily. But what did you do when you got back to your tribe? You gave your shot
So
in the dark to Shaylee?
the first thing I do is the my poor tribe just sat the whole journey, which probably took at least half an hour. My whole tribe is just sitting over there with a half hour to just be like, TJ sucks, let's vote
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah.
So I thought. Contributing to my factor of thinking I'm done. Um, but I walk up to my tribe, and the first thing I say is like, okay, like, do we have to do something else, or is it story time, or like, are we going to strategize now, or is it story time? And Adam and others are like, I think it's story time, and I'm like, oh. And I just start like I turn my bag upside down. I like turn out all my pockets. I like start like patting myself down. Like I lost my vote. I got nothing. I tried this puzzle. It was so hard. I couldn't do it. Just trying to be over the top, honest, but also be like, look at this idiot.
Oh,
Maybe he's not threatening. Like,
yeah. Okay. That's a good
um,
strategy.
so that was sort of the hope as well. But really, I was just like, mostly just trying to be honest and hoping that this display of honesty may allow me to find an inroad somewhere, find a crack in Sebago, something like that.
How did that work out for you?
Well, the a certain chain of events started when Adam and Sandra, right after story time, Adam and Sandra, and I think Amelia too, maybe, go off to get water. So I get a chance to talk to Seth and Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm like, hey, I know I'm in a bad spot, but like, we got to make a narrative that I from here on out in the game, I was constantly pushing. We need to make cross-tribal connections.
Yeah.
And the only way that we're going to get forward into the merge is to make cross-tribal connections, especially because Sebago was now in a position where they could throw 3 challenges and get 6 Sebagos to 11. Yeah, they could just throw three challenges and have a majority at the final 11.
Yeah.
Um, so I was very afraid of that situation, and very trying to do everything I could to prevent it. Um, Luckily, we get Seth and Maddie right off. Maddie immediately throws out Sandra's name.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. And Seth does not say Sandra's name, which came up at Tribal, but Seth does kind of agree. Maddie
Okay.
says, I see Sandra as a threat. Um, we got to get her out. All right, great. You got we got Shaylee, we got Amelia. Like, I don't have a vote, but we'll have five strong going forward. Like, yeah, let's do it. Um, I try to talk to Adam and Sandra, can't get anything off them at all. It's like, all right, great. Well, they're voting for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I do try to, I wouldn't call it throwing under the bus, but maybe nudging Shaylee towards the
Yeah.
side a bit, uh, by saying, like, just I definitely said to Adam and Sandra, I said, like, just so you know, Shaylee and Allison are the tightest two from Flagstaff.
Ooh. Ouch, TJ.
I have to do anything to. I think I sort of posed it in both ways too. I
Mm-hmm.
said, so hey, come with Shaylee and I. I think what I said was, come you can, if you guys come with Shaylee and I, we've got Allison, we've got Dave, like, we could get a good, cross tribal connection going.
Mm-hmm.
But the subtext is also,
Yeah.
you have a free agent here that's at your mercy, and you have Shaylee, who has a, is undyingly loyal to Allison. So um I don't think that really changed anything. But it probably didn't hurt. Um,
You think they were going to vote for Shaylee no matter what?
I think so. I think I'd have to talk to Adam and Sandra more about it, but I think they just sort of saw um the possibility of an Amelia, Shaylee, Maddie alliance, and also picking
Yes.
up Seth
That's right.
was a very real possibility.
Yes.
It probably was. Um,
Yes.
knowing getting to know the four of them more. Hmm. Um, so I think it was probably, yeah. It may have been a good move on their part. It's hard to know. Um, but I think it was more about um making sure that the two remaining were as splintered as possible.
Yeah.
And so they thought, leaving me and Amelia, like, Shaylee could glue to me, or could glue to Amelia very easily, and could also connect with Maddie and Seth. But they
Mm-hmm.
probably thought leaving me and Amelia would be the least threatening two to keep in.
And little did they know.
Yes. um I thought I was done. Like, I was at basically from the point where I couldn't get any name off of Adam and Sandra, I was just like, this is it. I even I came back to Seth and Maddie, and was like, yeah, like, Sandra, right? Yeah. And Seth, classic. God bless him. Classic Seth. He was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing at this one. Okay.
Oh my
I thought
God.
I thought I knew what that meant. I thought that meant he was writing two letters on the parchment, but apparently he was writing more than that. Um, so yeah, I again, especially after that conversation, I was just like, I'm toast. I go to Shaylee, I say, just to hear, take my shot in the dark. I'm getting voted out. I can't play it anyway. Just take it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I'm like totally defeated, but I'm really ready to go out in style. I'm like thinking about, I'm gonna really mess stuff up at Tribal here.
And so your plan going in was to do this loud dancing in the voting booth, or did you have more that you said during
Oh, much,
tribal?
much more. I think
Oh
far more
God.
important than that was I go in and more or less immediately throw Maddie under the bus.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
okay,
say,
this and
there
you
are
fuck her whole
divisions.
game up. You fuck
Yes,
Maddie's whole game
yes, I
up.
did. In hindsight, um, there are divisions in this tribe, and you guys, if you're gonna move forward in this game, you have to know Maddie immediately threw Sandra's name out. Um, and goes, Maddie admits it.
She
She
did
says,
not.
I do see Sandra as a threat in this game, but she
Oh,
played it off really well. It was a very political answer. She was like,
okay, okay.
but I respect her so much as a player, and like I know she's knows what she's doing, but I know what I'm doing too, and I hope we can like keep playing together. So she admitted it, but also had a very good answer.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
was kind of like,
Good
"Yeah,
for her.
okay." I continue to push my narrative of cross tribal connections and say you have to do this unless your plan is to just go six Sebago to the final six and have this be the most boring season of any LRG ever. You're going to need some cross tribal connections to get through the rest of this game. Which I think Adam later told me he's like, yeah, I think you like incepted me with that, man. I was like,
Nice.
this is the most boring season ever.
Very
um,
nice.
And yeah, I still figure I've gotten absolutely nowhere. And I'm like, okay, what fun things can I do in the voting booth? And I'm like, oh, like maybe if I make some like huge scene in the voting booth, maybe it might change. Like maybe there's a hinky vote or two get thrown some way. Just like maybe I can
Yeah.
make something weird happen,
Hmm.
basically. In hindsight, I think it probably only increased the chances of getting voted out. It could have
Yeah.
certainly gotten it flipped on me. Everything that I did that round, I think probably could have gotten it flipped on me. Um, but yeah, I just go mad in the voting booth. I'm like, yeah, all right, let's go. Just
Yeah.
trying to like almost like I said about the fake, almost like a fake, like so over the top that it's like I'm bluffing that I'm bluffing. You know what I mean? um, and yeah, I say if this changes even one vote, I'll be happy. Luckily, it didn't change any votes, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
And
luckily for
yeah,
you.
Liza goes, um, Liza goes, yeah, okay. If anybody has any idols or advantages, now will be the time. And I stand up and I go, Liza, I turn my pockets out. I wish I'd started bluffing an hour ago,
Beautiful.
thinking I'm just going home. Shay plays her shot, and I feel bad. I'm like, oh, you wasted your thing. Like, you should have just kept it. Fully not safe. One vote TJ, four votes Shaylee. And she immediately slips my shot in the dark back in my pocket. Very nice of her.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like just hanging there with my mouth open. I can't wait to see that
Yeah.
because I'm just like complete mouth agape after that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Wonderful. So the next couple of we can skip these challenges.
We're not
Next
skipping the snake maze.
we're skipping the snake maze. You don't go to tribal.
Yeah, all right. So okay. So we get back from camp. It was such a mixed bag of emotions after that. I was like,
Yeah.
how did I make it?
Yeah.
But Shaylee got voted out and she didn't do anything wrong. Like,
Yeah.
why would they? I couldn't even understand why they voted her out at the time, especially with everything that I just stirred up. But
Did you get any clarity on that eventually?
no,
No.
nobody, they were not telling me anything. And especially after I think I asked Adam afterwards. I was like, why? He was like, yeah, I'll tell you later. And later was like 3 weeks later.
Okay.
He did eventually tell me later, but yeah, I never nobody was giving me anything
Yeah.
at Moosehead really.
Who did vote for you?
Um,
Amelia voted for you?
yeah, they can. told Amelia to vote for me, and they did not tell her that it was going to be Shaylee.
Yeah.
So they basically wanted her to just show trust. And I immediately went to her. I think she admitted it right away. I
Mm.
immediately went to her, like, it's cool. You did what you needed to do. Like, you
Yeah.
build trust with them. Like, great, fine. Like, don't worry about it at all. Um, I when we get back to camp, and I go over to the Cepecos, and I immediately go, thank you for keeping me. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
still won't tell me anything. Yeah, my head's complete. We go right to the next challenge. So my head is still
Oh.
spinning. I don't know anything. I don't know anything that's going on. I don't know why half of my face is in darkness. Here, that's better. um I don't know anything that's going on. And yeah, immediately we go into an immunity challenge, and I see the snake maze at the end. And at this point, I'm like, I'm playing with house money. I'll do it. I'm tall. Yeah.
So
So
you did it. Okay.
I
Okay.
finally put myself out there, which was something I was very afraid, consciously choosing not to do, but also scared,
Yeah.
also not wanting to put myself in a hero role.
But
Um,
you have to now because they could just throw it and they have every reason to throw
yeah,
it.
I was
Yeah.
worried. I was worried about that too. And so yeah, we Adam and I get up there, and Adam, even like while I'm trying to focus on the snake maze, Adam is holding it just like a little too far from the boards. And I'm like, fucking Adam is throwing this challenge. I'm like, keep it. You got to keep it flush keep it closer. Just yeah, keep it. All right. Um, but we white knuckled it, and we crushed them. We crushed them on the snake maze. I don't think they even got halfway up.
Nice.
I think we may have only dropped like twice. We dropped like at the beginning once, maybe twice. We dropped like halfway, and I think maybe our fourth or fifth attempt, we got beyond halfway and finished it. And I had another big. I like tackled Adam. I gave him a big hug. After going through that tribal council, that was just an incredible feeling winning that
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
We made the two the two I ended up 2 and 5 in tribal immunity challenges, and that includes three tribe challenges. So pretty abysmal tribal immunity challenge record, but the two I made them
Yeah.
count.
Yeah, that's great. Um, so then the next thing that happens is the fire
Yeah, we
meeting.
I we're settling in for the night. I'm like, man, I made it. I made it through the night. Oh, wow. All right, I'm gonna make it to day 3. Production shows up with a bucket. You have 20 minutes to gather your fire making supplies. I'm like, oh no. But still, then even Seth is like, all right, I got that. You guys know. We're like, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So we're gathering, I like rip off one piece of birch and put it in the bucket. I'm like, all right, I contributed. Um, and I'm feeling like I'm about to get immunity for free. Um, oh, and I am sick at this point as well.
Oh.
Like after the snake maze, um, I start feeling really nauseous. We got we got 2 cups of rice at Flagstaff. So we had a third of a cup of rice for breakfast in the morning, and that is all I have had to eat in the entire game.
Mm.
There were other rewards that I think that each of the final 14, the final 13, yeah, the final 15 and 14, no, 16 and 15. The challenges where Mary and Kiefer got out, I think definitely the Kiefer one. The other tribes got some food as a
Oh.
reward, but we lost. So yeah, I had only had that third of a cup of rice. This is into the second night now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was feeling
Yeah.
really unwell. I'm like trying to make chit chat and make connections, but I'm not well. I lie down. Um, and yeah, they show up with the bucket, and I'm just struggling, but I'm so glad, like, at least I don't have to do anything. Um, and yeah, we go to tribal with Seth versus Allison, basically. Seth and Adam versus Allison and Zach, I think.
Uh-huh.
Uh, And I'm like spreading my hoodie out. I'm like, I'm blocking the wind, guys. Look at me, I'm helping. Um, but Allison again starts the fire in like I believe it was 4 minutes. I believe it was 4 minutes and 20 seconds, if I recall.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
420,
Allison
bro.
just did a great job, really, really premium time. And and then once again, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting voted out. But and at this point, I'm like, well, at least I'll get some food. I'm not gonna like die out in the forest tonight.
So you really
um,
thought you were going home?
yeah, yeah. I was pretty sure. I was sort of thinking like, well, if I wasn't already going to be the one going home, surely all the nonsense that I pulled at the last
Yeah.
thing, surely they would rather vote for me than Amelia. So I just feel like I got nothing going on. Um, yeah, I do my like evening confessional and I'm like giving my farewell speech. I was like, I ran the Flagstaff tribe. I did so well. I'm happy with the game I played. You know, I made it one vote through here. Um, Only thing this round, and I'm so dead ass too. The only thing I'm thinking about really this round is um whether to play or whether to play my shot
Yeah.
or that Shaylee thankfully had given back to me. So
Yeah.
the only thing I'm really thinking about is do I play my shot or do I convince Amelia to play her shot and vote for her,
Hmm.
hoping that the Sebagos split and Amelia goes home 3-2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that round was such a mess. I fall asleep.
Wait.
Um, I fall asleep again, and then we are woken up and told we're going to tribal council. Uh,
Okay.
I was feeling so bad at this point. Because as we're sitting there, we're finishing our confessionals. It's very clearly like the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We're finishing our confessionals. I'm thinking like I'm getting voted out. I thought I definitely went through my brain to just say like, guys, like, why don't we just go to tribal now? I'll just like Tori, I'll just like play my shot, and if it doesn't work, I go home. I definitely that thought went through my sick, depleted brain at that point.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that I didn't act on that and was able to, persevere um, through a difficult moment. Um, yeah, sure enough, I fall asleep. We get woken up and told we're going to tribal. Um, I make sure to get all my things, including my sleeping bag, because I'm like, all right, I'm sleeping in my car. Not bad.
Yeah.
um, and we're walking, and Adam's like, so, how do you feel? I'm like, pretty bad. He's like, so we're thinking of doing Maddie this round. How do you feel about that? I'm like, why? I was just so delirious.
Yeah.
Um, but he's like, yeah, she's like kind of a threat and she wants to get Sandra out. I'm like, okay, sure. Um, I have already resolved to just play my shot at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's like simplest possible scenario. And especially when he tells me that, like I feel like they're trying to either that is the actual plan or it's me and they're
Play.
trying to get me
Yeah.
to not play my shot.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if either of those are a possibility, then I should play my shot. I'm
Hmm.
feeling terrible at tribal. Um, I get up and I play it.
Hmm.
And yeah, when I stand up, I say publicly, I say there are two possibilities here. One in which my vote doesn't matter, because I was thinking it would be 4-2 me, Amelia, Sandra, Adam voting for Maddie. So
Right.
one in which my vote doesn't matter, and one in which all the votes are on me. So as a thank you to Shaylee for giving this back to me, I played my shot in the dark. Not safe.
Hmm.
Then Amelia gets up, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Even when I'm thinking like, oh God, even if we had the votes, now it's 2-2, and oh no.
Uh-huh.
Um, but sure enough, Sandra and Adam pulled off the most intricate, detailed, like gangster move really
Yeah.
in the whole game. And yeah, a 2-1-1 in a six-person tribe and
Yeah.
flush two shot in the darks. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, that's so interesting. So did they tell Seth and Madison to split the votes on you and Amelia? Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful.
Um, yeah. I uh I look forward to hearing what Sandra has to say about that vote because um yeah, I'm glad that very glad that it was Maddie. I still didn't in that state I still didn't even really understand. I was just all right,
Well,
well
it's because of you. You know
we made
now.
another one. Yeah.
You
And
know now.
I eventually I came to realize that yeah, I had planted that seed and that seed kept me in the game in that vote.
Yeah, you're lucky that Sandra was so paranoid about it and that they felt really safe having 4 and 1, right? They were like, oh, well, let's just get rid of this person who's a threat against me, like Sandra's saying that
Right.
in Madison. I just can't believe that they didn't tell. I mean, I know why they didn't tell Seth. I just can't believe they thought Seth would stay with them after that. Like,
Right.
how
Especially
idiotic.
being Seth being such a like a loyal, solid guy, you know.
Yes.
I think that was everything about that move was amazing except that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
I don't think
and
it's that great
yeah,
of a move.
I couldn't believe it. And yeah, for the second time after both after the fire making challenge and after tribal council, Seth parks himself in the corner of the shelter and we're all like, Seth, you good? You want to? I'm all set. Just need a minute.
Oh.
And I felt bad, but I was like, okay, well, this is good. We should, I actually feel like I have some hope
Yeah,
for,
so was it was that moment when you could tell like, oh, he's very upset. He was not a part of this vote. I could get
yeah,
him.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
From that night, I went to bed being like, okay, like we have a possibility to flip it here. And this was, I think this, this was just a massive, massive swing in the game.
Yeah,
I think that,
it was.
and Lauren had gone the previous vote too. So at that at what at 13 we still had six Sebagos. So there was still I think a world in which it was a Sebago romp to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, fortunately, new Sebago voted out Lauren, and then we were able to get by the grace of Adam and Sandra, Maddie got out. So then we were even up, I think. We were 4-4-3. Flagstaff had three. But yeah, I think that the those four the I think yeah, the Sebago four definitely could have definitely just ran it and picked up Zach again, picked up Topher and Callie. Uh,
Yeah.
and he just ran it to the end there. So I think this was a critical vote, and
Yeah.
I think Maddie was a sacrifice for the greater good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way of thinking
Not
about
just
it.
for Maddie. I want to say I would love to talk to Maddie at some point. She was so tenacious, especially when she subbed for Amelia and she got up on the wheel. She was like, "I got this. Let's go." She's like, "Go faster." That girl has just so much like I know she's a soccer player. That girl has just so much fire in her and so much like
Yeah.
competitive drive. I really hope she gets a chance to play another game.
Cool. Okay. That's good to know. Um I mean, she seemed really quiet to me, so I don't know, but
I think she was externally quiet, but internally I think there's a lot of fire and
fire, yeah.
competitive spirit there.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
really like to see it.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's the next morning.
It's day 3.
What?
I said day 3. I'm
Yeah.
waking up on day 3 at Moosehead, I was like, wow, a lot of stuff happened yesterday.
Yeah. So did you get a good sleep that night?
I slept probably 4 or 5 hours at Moosehead. I slept a little bit. It was much more comfortable than Flagstaff, and we had
Yeah.
a tarp too. Adam so kindly slept in the dirt because we only really had room for about four of us on the tarp. And yeah, very, very nice move, especially from the guy who was more or less the kingpin at this point.
Mhm.
To yeah, sleep out on the dirt. But yeah, I parked it on the end of the tarp and woke up feeling much better.
That's good.
Um, and oh, and yeah, after the fire making challenge, um, uh, Sebago won right, or they won a spaghetti dinner,
That's right.
and they were offered that they, if they all agreed, they could give us rice. And thankfully, they gave us that rice because I
Wow.
really desperately needed it.
That's awesome. That's nice of them.
Yeah, I ate just like a little bit very slowly in the evening, and then in the morning I was feeling a little better and just I probably ate maybe half of that pot of rice when we eventually were able to eat it.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Um, what did you do then this next morning? Who, when you spoke with Amelia, I'm assuming you spoke with Amelia and Seth at some point that morning. What were those
Yeah.
conversations?
I was trying to early in the morning, especially. I was actually trying to lie awake because I could hear people talking at the fire,
Mm,
and I was hoping I might get some intel. Um, I definitely heard Sandra and Adam talking about Seth. And be like, I think they were the first two up. They were the first two to walk over there, but I was awake and I heard them like, yeah, we really like we gotta reassure Seth. We gotta make sure it's okay. Um, and I'm pretty sure at this point that the next vote just comes down to winning over Seth.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm not even really trying that much with Adam and Sandra. Um, but yeah, my intuition was just telling me like Seth. Um, and yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much strategizing I really did at camp. I feel like we got up and went to the challenge quite quickly. I probably missed an opportunity there to make some more bonds, especially with Seth. Especially in the merge, I wish I had really kept Seth closer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he came in clutch for me. Yeah, this challenge was the shooting baskets on the elevated platform, and again, I'm like, legit, probably feeling a little more confident after the snake maze too, and I just can't hit one to save my life. I'm terrible at basketball. I was like always like a great disappointment on my like seventh and eighth grade basketball teams. It's like, TJ, he had a growth spurt. Like, let's
Yeah.
take him. And I'd be like chucking up threes and just missing all of them and like too scared to play defense or go for rebounds and like, oh man. So that was a little rough, that challenge. But I think it was Nick and Topher were shooting the balls on the other tribe. They did it so fast. I think
Mm,
even if I had had a reasonable performance, I think they still would have won that. Um, so yeah, then it was just all the eggs in the Seth basket on this one.
yeah. 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 Did you feel pretty good about it going into tribal? Did you feel like he was gonna vote with you?
I wasn't really sure, but I felt like it didn't matter. I felt like this is the only route I have. One thing I talked to Allison about this recently, and it's applicable in poker. It's applicable in a lot of things. It's there are when there are so many variables in something, there are certain conditions that need you can ignore some possibilities basically because if a certain possibility only ends in one outcome and you can't do anything to change that, it's not worth thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in poker, if you have a king high flush, it is not worth thinking about what you should do if your opponent has an ace high flush because you're getting stacked. You're losing all your money. It doesn't matter. You
Mm-hmm.
should think about what you're doing versus other holdings that they could have. So I think in this vote, I was thinking either I have Seth or I don't, and I want to do everything I can to appease Seth, make it seem like a good choice for him to make, and to just seem like a solid guy that Seth would want to work with.
Yeah.
So I went to him immediately. I have a whole, I'm like thinking about this during the challenge. I like have a whole speech prepared. I'm like, Sandra and Adam betrayed you. Like
Yeah.
they didn't even tell me until the last minute. Like they're so sketch. Which one do you want to target? I'm like going into this whole thing. And I say like, no, we should get one of them. And he just goes, Sandra. I'm like, Sandra? He said,
Oh.
we don't even have to talk about it. That's what it is. Like, I'm sure.
Amazing.
So I just leave him alone because when he says we don't even have to talk about it, that implies to me basically like either either I'm voting for you and just get out of my face, or um I need to lie, which was ended up being the case. I need to lie to Sandra and Adam.
Yeah.
So just get out of here. This is what I'm doing. Like we don't need to be seen together. We don't need to like make any fuss about this. Um and to his credit, yeah, that's what he was doing.
Hmm.
I can't wait to see how the two of them pulled this off because um yeah, man, it was great. I relay the message to Amelia right away, lock it in. I was like, all right, we got three on Sandra. Let's do this. Let's just take the shot right now. Um, at some point, I go up to Adam. I'm like, man, good move. Yeah, like I want to work with people that can like pull off moves like that. But he's saying Amelia, and I'm kind of like, mm.
Yeah.
I think I even pitch. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think Seth is ready yet. Me and Adam had a good connection. We have a lot of similarities.
Hmm.
Um, I was very intimidated by him at first as well because he was in such a powerful position and like he's such just an like athletic, charismatic guy. I kind of came in thinking like he's man, like this is like every jock that's like as smart as me, but also like way better at sports and better looking and like so I was very intimidated by Adam at first, but I think we built a good working friendly relationship throughout the game and yeah, enough that I even told him I was like dude, like I think Seth is not ready. Like we could just vote out Sandra here and be four strong going into the merge. Um and I don't think he really entertained that.
Yeah.
The big mistake I made in this round was we should have Amelia and I should have confirmed a fake plan, confirmed to like say each other's names or something like that. At
Uh-huh.
one point, I the completely boneheaded thing. I I had I had said because after I talked to Adam, I was like, yeah, Adam said Amelia, right? Talking to Sandra, and then I walk into a group of Amelia and Sandra. Such a rookie mistake. And Sandra's like, all right, what are you guys thinking? And I'm like, how do I get out of this one? And then I think I think I said Seth because he just like wasn't there. And then Sandra immediately goes, "All right, which one of you's lying to me? Because you said this and you said this, and
Yeah.
I know you too." And I'm just like, and
Oh shit.
I put my hand on her shoulder. I say, "Sandra, you got me. I'm voting for you. This is so much fun. You got me good, Sandra." Trying to be nice about it, but just being like, all right, whatever, cat's out of the bag. And I also I have in my mind this whole round. I want to just appear solid. I'm solid because clearly I've shown evidence to the contrary at this point.
Hmm.
But I want Seth to feel like, all right, TJ's a solid guy. He's doing the plan and he's not wavering. So after that conversation, I've already put it out anyway. I just go, well, I'm voting for Sandra. So if anybody wants to talk to me about how I'm voting for Sandra, I'm going to be in the bushes over here. I just like uh, storm off, and just take a seat in the bushes, and nobody talk to me for the rest of the round.
Perfect. So Sandra felt safe.
Yeah, I think yeah that probably helped too to give them space to fully let their face. Um, I can't believe I learned on a very nice chat with Allison. We called each other on the drive home, and when she told me Sandra had an idol, I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? I did all of that stuff and she didn't play her idol. I
Yeah.
was flabbergasted. And it made me even more grateful to Seth and Amelia that they not only did they save me and vote for me, but they had to snow Adam and Sandra so bad when I am publicly saying I'm voting for Sandra,
Yeah.
which is beyond obvious that my itinerary is I'm voting for Sandra and I hope Amelia and Seth will vote for me. So they had to just get her. They got her really, really good,
Yeah.
and I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I even turned, um, yeah, I even at the yeah, I reconfirmed with Seth. He again says we don't need to talk about it anymore. I'm like, all right, cool. Sandra and I have like a back and forth at tribal. Like she's like, do you really want to align with someone willing to like flip on their own tribe? Which I don't even know if I really indicated that. But I'm like, Sandra, I'm like impressed by you. You guys like pulled off a great move. The 2-1-1 vote. I say, that was some assassin shit, but I would like to play the rest of this game with less assassins around me.
Ooh.
I write down Sandra, draw a little crown, and yeah, 2 votes TJ, 2 votes Sandra. Sandra. And yeah, like in the moment, like I wasn't even that surprised. I was like, I think I said in my voting confessional, it was like, well, the first vote, the first swap vote, I would think I had 0% chance. The second one, I thought I had 10. This one, I'm feeling like 35% chance of getting through this one. I mean, the TJ stock just keeps going up.
Yeah. Good
So
trajectory.
yeah, I wasn't even that I wasn't super shocked. I wasn't feeling great, but it felt like a real possibility that Seth and Amelia were with me, and I was just so grateful that they were.
Yeah, so you guys now heading into the merge, you're the power trio, the new power trio.
But yeah, it was a good feeling, and I do, Seth. I came up to Seth right after that vote. I said, "Thank you so much. I owe you my life in this game." And
Okay.
he said, "You don't owe me nothing."
Ah.
To his credit, he's such a good guy, such a
Yeah.
good guy.
Yeah, he is.
Um, but yeah, I was so thrilled to get through that, and I saw the table too, and I was like, "Drop your buffs. We are moving into the individual phase of the game."
Yeah. Look at you.
I was that was my goal coming in as we spoke early on to make the merge and to just get the full experience, get to be on the jury and everything like that. So that moment to me, um, just such a huge wave of gratitude. Like I cannot believe I got through that swap tribe. I still
Yeah.
cannot believe I got through that swap tribe.
Yeah.
So many things, so many things had to go the right way. I think I did some things that helped me get out of it, but also I had a lot of people helping me out and a lot of just other factors that that got me through. And yeah, just standing even when Liza said it was mergatory and I knew like I hadn't necessarily made the merge yet, I was just like, wow, like
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I got this far. I can't believe I did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a wonderful feeling.
It really was. I had to earn it, but I'm a fighter. I always fight for what I need. So I was felt very proud of myself and very fortunate as well in that moment.
So in this challenge, you didn't win. You were not safe.
Yeah, this steady hands is a tricky thing for me.
Um,
Um, I was feeling good about it because I'd done the snake maze. My
mm-hmm.
family we have a history. A lot of us have like an intentional tremor, like when you're really trying to hold something steady, you can't.
Yes.
So that's something I've observed in myself at times. Sometimes it happens to me, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, steady hands challenges. I was also very worried about. But yeah, feeling better after the snake maze.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the blocks were tough. I got 5 on at one point and then like immediately dropped. And I
Mm.
pretty much knew that was it. I think 3 people at that point, 3 people had already finished. I kind of knew that that was my last chance. But honestly, I wasn't that worried because I was like, again, I was like, the last 3 votes, like I said, 0%, 10%, 35%. This, I'm like, well, there are 4 other people that can get voted out here. It's not just TJ or somebody else. So this is good.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. So what happens here? Lauren comes back in as well.
Beautiful moment. Um, I think I probably got to enjoy it more than anybody else because everybody else had some certain feelings about Lauren at this
Yeah.
point.
You hadn't
But
really met her?
seeing, I hadn't yet. No, I met her at the lacrosse challenge. Me, her, and Aaron were on the post together, but I have not been on a tribe with her yet.
Yeah.
Um, and as somebody that has struggled with mental illness in the past, and panic attacks and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
seeing her make a comeback like that, to
Yeah.
go from such a low to such a high in like an
Yeah.
instant, and just be able to pull it out, was really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's a tearjerker moment for people watching.
Yeah, it should be. It really should be. It's a testament to the strength of willpower. And
Yeah.
even when your body and your subconscious are screaming and telling you to stop, or telling you to shut down, like
Mhm.
you can always take a deep breath and override it, and push through in a difficult moment. And she was able to do that very
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Amazing. So you were happy. You were proud of her in that moment, even though you didn't know her. You
Yeah,
didn't really.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It later came to find out how people felt about Lauren, and was not so sure. I really, when
Yeah.
because it was in that challenge, though, it was Lauren and Sandra that
Yeah.
both had 5. I was like, oh
You were like
no,
anyone but
no,
Sandra, right?
Sandra, no.
Were
Um,
you shocked when they walked in? Did you have any idea that there would be this battle back?
no, I didn't suspect it at all, but I also just was I was so happy for Mary, Kiefer, and Shaylee, really,
Yeah.
that they got a second night, and they got to have a full experience, and they got to have another shot. I was really rooting for Kiefer or Shaylee in that challenge, because
I thought so. Yeah.
I figured those were 2 people that I could work with, possibly Mary as well, but who knows. Um, but yeah, I was just yeah, really hoping it wasn't Sandra, basically.
Yeah.
Everything after that having just happened just a few minutes ago.
Hmm.
But yeah, we get back to camp, the 5 no buffers,
Yeah.
and we get to know each other. We have a brief little chit chat, and then Topher, God bless him, says what we were all thinking. At one point, Topher goes like, "Yeah, I mean, like, we can talk strategy and stuff, but like, realistically, we're all just gonna do whatever the immune people come back and say. So like, it's cool, guys. Like, whatever." I'm like, thank you. Thank you for saying what we were all thinking.
Yeah. Just
Um,
relax while you can.
yeah. We had a little. I noticed that there were no Sebagos there, and of course, I was seeing Sebago as like the big bad blue tribe for the whole game, really.
Yeah.
So I made a point to say, like, all right, but like, no matter what happens, like, 4 of us are going to get through this vote. We have to get a Sebago out the next vote. So
Nice.
that was my one agenda there. But in my mind, my agenda for now, this time in the game, my agenda was to go to Allison and do whatever Allison told me to do.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, Allison comes back, and says, uh, yeah, like, there wasn't much chat. There wasn't much chat at the feast, which I was like, oh. But she said, I haven't, I actually haven't heard your name at all. Like, I'm hearing Dave,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing Amelia, and a little bit of Topher. And I was like, okay, wow. Like, at this point, I was almost like, not my name. All right, I'm just gonna lie down. I don't have to. I needed to round off so desperately after all this stress.
Hmm.
Um, um, but yeah, she says, I'm hearing Amelia, but I don't want another girl to get voted out, so I think I can switch it to Topher. I said, great. That's very much aligned in that group of the other four. Um, Topher is definitely, because I also I know at this point that that I know what Amelia knows about the first Moosehead tribal. I know that Callie tipped her off to play the idol. Obviously, I don't
Okay.
know the full extent of it.
So
Um,
Amelia told you that?
in not even yeah, like well, I think probably on day two. Um, I just was asking like what went down at that first tribal, and she told everybody that she played an idol, but she later told, I believe, just me, that she said Callie tipped me off. Like Callie's my one person on Moosehead.
Okay.
So I basically, when I saw that group, I was like, okay, I've got Dave, I've got Amelia, and I know Amelia's really tight with Callie, so Topher's my ideal target anyway. Um,
Okay.
so I pretty much just took the rest of that round off. This is when I started, so I was feeling better, but I decided to keep up the act that I was sick because I felt the utility of it. I say, okay, this will decrease any potential challenge threat talk,
Yeah.
and will also will serve me in that I can go walk off at 11 or 12 or 11 or 10. I walk off for a good 5 minutes and I pretend that I'm puking. I'm even making like puking sounds in the woods,
Oh
but I'm
my
really looking for an idol.
God.
um and also I later used it when I was like at 10 I later used it when I was sort of locked into a plan and just didn't really want to talk to anybody else. I was just like, I just need a minute, guys. Lauren comes over for like the fifth time. Is like, I had a chance to talk yet. What would you? Are you? I'm like, I'm not feeling so good. Like,
Oh my God.
so that was useful. But yeah, I just assume that it's a big majority vote on Topher. I think that we are leaving Zach out of it because we suspect that maybe they've been close from New Sebago. And on the walk to Tribal, Allison, it's me, Allison, and Zach are at the back, and
Mm.
Zach is checking in with us. I had a chat. I'd also had a chat with Zach and Nick, who I was making eyes at Zach and Nick the whole game because I was like, these are my nerd bros. These are
Yeah.
people these people look like my friends.
Yeah.
Like these are my dudes. We have like a 2-minute conversation where they're like, yeah, Amelia, we got to get Amelia out. I'm immediately like, well, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole Nerd Bros secret alliance that I had in the back of my head for the first 2 days of the game immediately fails.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that we're voting for Topher and leaving Zach out. But he comes up to Allison and I. He's like, "All right, like, what are you guys thinking?" And I'm like, Amelia, right?" Looking at Allison. And then Allison's was like, oh, "Yeah, we're thinking Topher," and I was like, "Oh no, did we just blow it?"
Yes, you
Yeah, I
did.
I vote I vote for Topher. And then Zach stands up. Once again, I'm like, oh no, we blew it. He plays the idol for Dave. I'm like,
Yeah.
Dave? What? What? But yeah, sure enough, 6 votes on Dave get nullified, and 4 votes on Topher send him to be the mayor of Ponderosa.
So, Zach voted with you guys.
Zach played his idol on Dave and put a rogue vote on Amelia.
Amelia. Yeah, okay.
Zach was the rogue vote. So it was um Flagstaff 3 and Amelia voted for Topher. And Zach basically joined us by playing the idol on Dave and then throwing the rogue vote on Amelia because he knew that there were going to be 6 votes on Dave.
Right. Okay. So Zach wa was pulled in to vote for Dave, didn't want to do that, went over to you guys, and Allison says it's Topher, and that's when he knows he can make something else happen.
Yeah, and we knew I don't know if I knew at this point, but a lot of people knew that Zach had the table idol.
Oh, you
Um,
did.
that I of course just well, I was like, oh wow, a bag that looks like the bag we got our shot in the darks in, and it's on a table. Isn't that interesting? Walked
Did
right past it.
Oh, no way. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and I didn't even see who found it, but I think we knew at that point that Zach had an idol.
Didn't Lauren tell everyone? I think Lauren was pissed about
Everything.
Zach screwing her over, and so she told everyone at the feast thing.
Yeah. Okay. That well, Zach was at the feast.
Yeah, that doesn't
Um,
make sense, does
but
it?
maybe
But I
yeah,
know
it
she
got
told
out. It
people.
got out very quickly. I think by 10, certainly every or well, yeah, but by before he actually played the idol, I think everybody, maybe me. I'm not sure if I knew at that point. I don't know. I think everybody knew at 11. Everybody knew pretty quickly that Zach had the table idol.
I had see this is so weird. I have in the notes from Addison. Lauren told everyone at the merge feast about Zach and Dave, so that Dave was a snake and that Zach had the idol.
Oh wow. Maybe Zach got up to get water or
Yeah,
something and she just like chucked him under the bus.
yeah. I wonder. Okay, so she was putting targets on Zach and Dave, or trying to, because she had some
Yeah.
vengeance thing going there.
Yeah, well, and she had a vengeance thing going with Dave from Survivor Philadelphia and some
Yes.
other I soon got to hear all about Survivor Philadelphia as we were showering at Kaya's house at the end of the night. But yeah, that was thrilling.
Oh no. Oh, because you guys were voted out like back to back. Shit.
Yeah. It was me, Lauren, Topher, I think was all set and was in his tent. But yeah, me, Lauren, Dave, and Zach were the Sunday night boots. Um, so yeah, I got an earful about Survivor Philadelphia while I was trying to like regain consciousness and like basic mental function.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So you vote for Topher. He goes home, even though didn't have the most votes, thanks to Zach. Are you thinking you're working with Zach now? And you want to work with Allison, and you have
Yeah.
Amelia and maybe Seth.
So yeah, we get to 10 and yeah, I immediately I say we're all sitting in the tent and I say to everybody, yeah, it's all good, everybody, no sweat. I know I was in the dark on the vote and the idol play, like it's cool, guys, everything's fine. But I'm of course thinking like, man, okay, six people just left me out of the vote, even though I told Adam certainly repeatedly, like if Dave has to go, Dave has to go, like, whatever. Zach says he didn't tell anybody that he was going to play the idol. Um,
Right. Yeah.
and yeah, so we're mostly just chit chatting and bonding at this point now that we have all gotten our nice black merge buffs. Um, so yeah, I didn't feel like there was a lot of strategizing going on before the challenge. But then yeah, we do the balance a golf ball on a platform and I do not. I am very wary of winning immunity in the early merge. I really do not want to win immunity in the early merge because I feel like that immunity only protects you from a small chance of getting voted out, whereas it raises threat level significantly.
Yeah.
Um, so I could not have won any of these challenges if I wanted to. Um, but yeah, I drop very quickly in that challenge and Allison wins.
Yeah.
And then the battle map going into this one looked very, very interesting. Um, because my flagstaffs basically are starting to like are drawing the line and I'm getting a lot of like, okay, well there's the five of us that voted together. It's Dave, Allison, Zach, TJ, and Amelia. We've got
Hmm.
five. They've got five. This is it. We're going to rocks. Like this is the defining moment in the game. And I was like, I'm not going to rocks.
Oh shit.
Of course, I'm placating them. I'm like, yeah, thanks. All right, let's do this. We're in this together. um, but there was no universe in which I was going to go attempt to go 5-5 here.
Mm.
Um, I was going to explore my options, try to swing someone,
Yeah.
and yeah, see what we can make happen. Um, my side is clearly targeting Nick. Still not really sure why. Probably something from New Sebago that I probably didn't know about. And I'm like, I'm okay with it. And hey, Allison has immunity. Like we got advantage in the rock draw. It's like three rocks for less rocks for us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
so I'm just trying to gas them up and hope that they don't see any options that involve targeting TJ. Um, the other side, it's very clear that the other side is targeting Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I do a confessional on the tarp in I end up in the shelter again. Part of my faking sick / part of just wanting to stay out of it at early merge and lay low, hide in plain sight. Um, I do a confessional lying down. I'm like, so wait, there's five, there's five over here, and there's five over here. So I think I'm the swing vote. um, and yeah, I just play out this entire round just lying down on the tarp. Um, Amelia comes up to me. I was like, I think we're the swing votes. Do you think like we could get somebody else if we wanted to vote out Nick? She's like, yeah, I think we can go get Callie. So Amelia goes and gets Callie. I felt so cool this round. Amelia gets Callie. And then Amelia and Callie come to me. I'm still lying down in the shelter. And we're like, what do you guys think? Like Zach or Nick? Um, and yeah, the three of us were the swing votes that round. Um, and I wanted to entertain both options, and I definitely wanted to have both options, but um, I wasn't really seeing the reason for me to keep Zach in the game. And
Yeah.
one thing that other people had told me, which I think was accurate, was they were like, I think Zach has kind of like taken your place with Dave and Allison. Like, I think he's kind of the new TJ. I was like,
He had,
all
yeah.
right, well, then he has to get voted out. So it didn't take much convincing to me. I did Callie was definitely on board to vote out Nick. We could have swung it then, but I just didn't really see any benefit to doing that. I think I was better off because then and then again also if the three of us flip, then I'm raising my target. Whereas if I'm like kind of jumping on board and just being like, I'm scared, guys. I don't want to go to rocks. I'm sorry, Allison. I'm sorry, Dave. Then I, do the Carson play. Oh shucks, so sorry, guys. I don't know. That was that bad. I'm sorry. So that was sort of my philosophy on 10. But I had a very important conversation with Callie. Um, we eventually I got up. And Callie and I had a one-on-one. And I was like, would you really vote for Nick? Like, do you think it's worth getting him out? And Callie says, yeah, Nick's very strategic. He plays poker,
Ah!
got a good strategic mind. And I give the camera a little side eye, and I'm like, oh no.
Beautiful. Okay.
um I feel like I'd kept a fantastic cover at this point. It's not that hard to leave out. I think as the longer my poker journey goes, the harder it might be to keep this out. But
Mhm.
at this point, it's only been about a year of my life that I had to leave out. So I basically told my story as I had, as if I had just come back from Bangkok.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I don't think I really had anybody questioning my story at any point. Um, but yeah, that set off alarm bells with me. And even like poker aside, the fact that she sees Nick, she says he's strategic, he's smart. I'm like, well, okay, we're targeting strategic, smart people. This girl is not on my side.
Yeah.
Um, so from that moment on, I knew at that point we were, going to tribal shortly. I knew there was no way I was getting Callie at 10, but I was like, I need to get Callie out
Okay.
as soon as possible.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, we go to tribal at 10. Oh, and also from this conversation, I now see a reason to keep Nick
Okay.
because I say now I can disclose this. I can separate Nick and Callie because I can tell him, hey, Callie was going to vote you out, and hey, she targeted you because you're a poker player. I'm a poker player. I've been keeping this from everybody, like it's you and me.
Yeah.
I really had like secret. I kept that alive. I knew at this point I was voting Zach out, but I
Hmm.
kept like secret alliance with Nick as hopefully something I could put in my back pocket later in the game.
Did that ever come into play?
Unfortunately, not, and I really wish it did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
um,
Zach
I
goes in
think
a
there were,
seven to
yeah,
three.
opportunities where I could have, but yeah. So go ahead.
Sorry. Just so Zach goes in a 7-3 vote, but Allison knew. Uh.
Yes, um, Alice, I confirm the plan with Amelia. I figure she has confirmed it with Callie, and we know we're voting out Zach. Allison comes up to me, and I tell her the truth because I want to keep Allison on my side.
Okay. Yeah.
I say, I, Allison, I have been through so much of this swap. I'm not going to rocks here.
Hmm.
Um, Zach just made a big move. We need to just let Zach go. Um, and she doesn't really fight it much, which I was pleased about. And
Yeah.
we talk like, I don't know, should you vote for Zach, or and we basically agree, why don't you just vote for Nick anyway? Um, it benefits her to get, potentially get Zach's jury vote, maybe get his shot in the dark or something like that. But yeah, we mutually agree that Allison will still vote for Nick, but Allison knew that Zach was going home.
Okay. Okay.
And after Zach goes home, we are walking to the next challenge. And or no, sorry, this was at 11. So sorry, this will just be a very brief sidebar, but best piece of Surviving Maine fan fiction here. After Zach played his idol, I the bag, he leaves the bag and the paper on the ground. So from 11 onwards, I have a real idol bag and a real idol paper
Oh
in my
shit.
pocket. Unfortunately, I never thought of what to do with it, but I later realized I should have gone back to Flagstaff and gotten Mary's deer bone.
Dearbone, yes. Legit idol.
The totally legit idol was going to look so legit.
Damn. Damn.
I don't think it would have, even if I had realized that immediately, I don't think it would have come into play at any point because my I would have just used it to bluff it at 6 or 5.
Okay.
I wouldn't have bothered really doing anything else with it. Um, but yeah, that was a fun possibility, and yeah, I was definitely had in the back of my mind of trying to do something with it, but yeah, that was a fun bit of something that could have happened but didn't.
Yeah. So at the next challenge, then, why was Dave the almost unanimous vote?
I was left out of the loop. Like I
Oh.
I I almost I got to the final round of this challenge, which is nice. It's the only individual challenge that I showed any remote competence in.
Is this the
Um,
spinning?
the swirly,
Yeah.
yeah, but I had some bad technique, and of course Adam is, super athlete. It's like, yeah, if you do that, you're fighting gravity, man. Like you got to like hold it from the bottom. Like, yeah, yeah, sure you do. But I also, when Adam won, I was also kind of glad because I'm like, okay, well, we have a clear like we have basically two clear challenge threat targets in Allison and Adam.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, these two challenges actually kind of worked out well for me. That we're getting some threats I can put ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, at 9, I was hell bent on Nick or Callie. Really, I wanted Callie out. And
Okay.
my pitch to basically everybody was, let's split on Nick and Callie. I would like the 4 to be on Callie, but if we want the 4 to be on Nick, that's fine too. Um, Seth and Lauren are like, oh, I don't know, like I don't want to split. Dave and Allison aren't really keen on splitting either. Adam is like, yeah, I mean, I'm into splitting, but Allison, Adam was, I don't know, Adam was probably misdirecting us or
Yeah.
had some other agenda there. Um, I'm trying to push Nick basically because I know Amelia won't vote Callie. I'm starting to see Adam and Callie going off together.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like the momentum will be there. I'm trying to get Nick, but we never really confirm the plan. And eventually we're in the line to tribal. And Amelia comes up to Allison and I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I think it's Dave. I know we were trying to get Nick, but I think everybody's voting for Dave, and I'm so sorry. And we were kind of like, it's cool. Like, okay, fine. Um, I try to think of a million different things I could like. Do I do a rogue vote? What can I do? But I know Dave doesn't have a shot.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I just resolved to just vote for Dave and to try to
Okay.
appear like I'm in the know or something like that.
Well,
But
Amelia did bring you into it, so.
I was very grateful that Amelia let me know,
Mm-hmm.
because nobody else was letting me know. Um, but yeah, um, Dave's last ditch moment. Yeah, of course, Allison burns her idol here.
Yeah.
But at this point, she had two, so of
Right.
course, if you feel even the slightest twinge of anything.
That's the right
Um,
thing to do. Yeah.
yeah. And I have constantly told her that I think if she didn't play it at 9, she would have played her second idol at 7. Um, so she was those idols were getting out of her pocket.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Allison plays her idol, and then Dave goes, "Joker's wild." This is not a hidden immunity idol, but it was a beautiful moment, and he went down swinging.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for Dave. Okay.
It's always
Um,
worth a shot.
yeah.
Shout out to Adam Klein and Adam Salinger as well.
So the next thing is puzzles, which you're not good at.
Oh my god!
But
So this
you
this
make it
challenge,
to you make it to the
this,
final round, yeah?
yes,
How?
by throwing the challenge. So, so yeah, we get 10 gram coconut chop basically. As soon as Liza says, I'm impressed that I still had this level of mental functioning because I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I was really processing like the votes that well. But as soon as Liza says, if you do it, you eliminate someone from the challenge. As soon as they said that, I was okay. So don't complete the puzzle. Just
Mm-hmm.
sit there. Not that I could, again, not that I could if I wanted to, but um, um, but I said I also considered self-eliminating too. But I said, well, if I stay in the challenge, then I'll get intel on who's knocking me out of the challenge or who's not knocking me out of the challenge, and maybe
Yep.
I'll like luck myself to the end, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so what? 4 people get it wrong and are eliminated. Seth gets one right and knocks Callie out. Maybe you should have taken advantage of that.
Mm.
um, but yeah, then it comes down to me and Allison. I'm very at the very beginning. I was very obviously throwing the challenge. I'm like banging pieces around and like looking at Andy like, um, but unfortunately, I was really close to the sit out bench. So after the first round, I couldn't. I had to, not be as obvious about how I was throwing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Yeah, so then it gets down to the final round, and like we get I think 3 different hints. Liza
Yeah.
has to stop the challenge and say like, "All right, I'm going to give you this hint." And me and Allison are both right next to each other, and we were having a lot of fun throughout the challenge. Like, oh my god, this is so hard! Hey, don't copy me! Like, we had a lot of fun with that one. But sure enough, what was destined to happen eventually happened, and finally, after we get Liza gives us the first 3 pieces of the puzzle, and I walk up to my thing, and I'm like, I can't even remember the three pieces. I was just shown 30 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's like how brain dead I was at that point. But yeah, Seth, after we get that hint, Seth does it in like an instant.
Okay.
Um, and then we get into a really wild final 8 round.
Yeah.
Uh, nine nine felt really chaotic. Nine felt like the first vote where I was like there's so many plans, and obviously that one I was being left out of. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I had more of a chaotic feeling, but this one was just as chaotic.
So what are you being told and by whom?
Yeah, we get the message in the bottle. We're speculating about the message in a bottle, and I've watched Survivor Cook Islands, and I should have known what a message in a bottle means. But yeah, we're speculating all kinds of different crazy stuff, and the idea of a double vote had definitely come out. But again, back to what I said before about incomplete information. Like I was just kind of thinking like it's not worth worrying about what's in the bottle because we don't know.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I need to strategize based on. I sort of felt this way almost certainly almost to my detriment at the Sandra vote, but I felt the same way about the idols in the game. I'm like, if I don't know where the idols are, I might as well just play as if they don't exist. Or really, what you should do is play with the assumption that everybody has about a 20% chance of having an idol, or
Mm,
whatever the math is in terms of how many people are left and how many idols you expect to be in the game.
yeah.
But I was basically just like, I'm just going to ignore this because if I don't know where they are, it's not worth thinking about. And I should use my mental energy based on to think about the variables that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I start talking to Allison again. I'm targeting Callie. Um, and I know that this round I want to make a Final Four deal because I can basically I can make a Final Four deal and say let's just figure out with specifically with Amelia because I know at this point I want to get to the end with Amelia. We'll have a good story. Amelia's one of few people. Amelia apparently is a great fire maker, but I hadn't seen her do it, so I'm thinking like, okay, maybe Amelia is somebody who I might have a chance with against fire. Um, like she is my and we've been close, like perfect go to the end person. Um, so I am talking to Allison, and then Amelia comes up to me, and I wish I had done this with Amelia in a one-on-one, and I think it might have been a lot better. But I was so ready to just say it, you know. And with Allison still there, I'm like, "Who do you want to go to the final four with? Let's do it. Like, let's just do it right now. Like, okay, with us three and like one other person, just like pick somebody." And she's like, I don't know. I haven't thought about." I'm like know I messed up at this point. I'm like, we're in a CK. Like, we'll worry about that later. But yeah, I really wanted to make a Final Four deal with Amelia, basically Amelia and whoever at that point, and just try to get one of those, though not those four people out, and then ride that to the end. Um,
Did you ever mention to Amelia that you wanted Callie out?
I think I was too scared to bring that up to Amelia
Okay, smart.
because the yeah because um the intel I had was Callie saved me. Callie tipped me
Yes.
off. Like Callie's the reason I'm still here. So I was like, okay, if when Callie goes, we have to leave Amelia out. And then I'm starting to realize we also have to leave Adam out. And maybe we have to leave Nick out. Like, oh boy. Like
Mm.
I was very worried about her at this point. Um, I yeah, always seeing the three moose heads talking. I was yeah, again at 9 and at 8, I'm really like we got these three moose heads, they've been through a lot together. The three of them fought from, small tribe all the way to here. Like we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Um maybe I could or alternatively, maybe I could have tried to make a Final Four deal with the three of them.
Yeah.
Um which would have had Amelia in it too, and Nick, my secret alliance. So that could have been an avenue I could have gone.
Yeah.
Um, Eventually, I talked to Seth and Lauren, and this is the number one. I think the biggest time that I really tried to sell the Adam, like expose the Adam and Callie thing. Because as we were talking, they're off, just the two of them all the way at the end for a long time.
Mm.
Um, and eventually they let me in. They give me the wait a moment, which I was like, not so great. But eventually they let me in, and I'm like, look at those two. They're all the way over there. Like we have to get Callie out. Um, I assume I don't want to target Adam because I see him as a shield.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm really trying to pitch Callie hard to them, and they're entertaining it, and basically we're all agreeing we need to get Adam, like we let's like do Callie this one and Adam the next one, or maybe one after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, yeah, we were pitching it as a package deal basically, but um
Who were you talking to again?
I
Lauren?
was talking to Seth and Lauren, and I
Okay.
still don't know how much they were actually entertaining that, or how much they were just,
Mm.
placating me because they were targeting Allison.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Were they though? Did they vote for her?
they did vote for her in that round. And I think
And who
I
voted for
made
Lauren?
I didn't really make any secrets about my connection with Allison. I
Yeah.
wanted to be pretty open about that. And I also I think I was pretty confident at this point that it was clear that Allison was a bigger threat than me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was not that concerned about it, because I figure, okay, if the two of us get left out on a vote, it's going to be to vote at Allison.
Yeah.
So I wasn't that worried about it either. Um, but yeah, I try to have a chat with Nick as well. I propose, like, I pitched to Nick, hey, we're like the middle threats here. Like there are some threats above us. And there are some people that, like, people are trying to take to the end. We're kind of in the middle here. Like, we need to work together. Um, Again, kind of a missed opportunity. I think me and Nick really, I think I needed Nick more than I knew in the actual game.
He needed
Uh,
you too.
yeah, Nick, I didn't really realize was, a ship without a sail for a lot of the game, and I,
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, that could have been a nice alliance there.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he was like, yeah, but I know you're close with Allison. I'm like, I know, but like, you know, I know we don't take her to the end, right? He goes, oh fuck no. Like, great, sure. Um, and then Adam, myself, and Allison together. And then I kind of flipped that pitch, and now I'm saying to them, look, we are the three big threats. We need to work together. I don't really I truly see myself as more of a middle threat, more where Nick is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I see them as clearly the two big threats, though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I say we need to work together here. I was really a lot most more than getting Callie out that round. I think my agenda in that round was to prevent Allison and Adam from targeting each other, because I felt like if that happened, then basically one of my sides of the two sides I've been trying to work is just down in flames, and I'm at the mercy of the other side. Basically, like, I need the two of them to stay in, and I need the two of them as shields.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when we get together, Adam gives up Lawrence, and I'm just like, cool, great. Like, this is again a person we thought, Lauren has an expiration date.
Yeah.
If it has to, if now is the right time, like, let's do it now. And we were also seeing Lauren very close with Nick, and Lauren very close with Seth. So
Yes.
okay, if we're at 8 and Lauren is 3 votes, we just have to do it, and then we can separate those two as well.
That's
Um,
a good call. Yeah.
and yeah, Allison had long ago said, "I'm not voting for any of the girls except Lauren. I'll vote for Lauren." So I was like, okay, well, and we had now evened the gender numbers. It was
Okay.
going into, I think when Lauren came back in the game, it was 7-4. Um, because it was at the swap. The swap was the issue. The swap
Yeah.
was 4 women in a row.
Uh-huh.
But then we evened it out, and it was 4-4 at 8. So Allison was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's we've done what we need to do. We can vote Lauren out now.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we know we need to leave. We know we need to leave Seth and Nick out. And the plan was sort of to divide and conquer. Allison and I grab Amelia, and Adam gets Callie. Again, we're like,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on here? Um, in the line going to tribal, Allison says, hey, oh yeah, okay, we're good, right? Because it had taken so much scrambling to figure out eight, but then we felt solid at that point. Allison says to me and Amelia, um, in case it's a double vote, let's have another name, Nick, right? We're like, yeah, Nick, cool. Um, and yeah, we got the tribal at final eight was the first time we got the how has this experience changed you? And I got to put in my agenda of like experiences like this don't change you. They help you find something within yourself that you didn't know was there before. Um
Nice.
so I got to compliment Lauren on her challenge win when she was talking about that moment,
Mm-hmm.
which felt nice. Also knowing she was getting voted out too, I was well hoping she was getting voted out.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was her
I mean,
birthday.
yes, I think was it day two? I think day two was her birthday.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
she
She
got
got
voted
voted
on
out on
her
her
birthday.
birthday and the day after her birthday as well.
Yes.
um, but um, but yeah, so that was nice, and I was like, oh, this might help me, jury management kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting there. I know I'm voting for Lawrence. I'm sitting there thinking all about all the possibilities of the bottle, and but everything is telling me just like yeah, we'll just vote out Nick. Yeah, like what could happen? We'll just yeah, just vote out Nick. Um, and yeah, sure enough, there's the big kerfuffle. It takes Lauren like 15 minutes to vote because there was like
Yeah.
a rules clarification about her pile of shots in the dark from the edge.
Yeah.
I can't believe she didn't play her 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess again, Adam and Callie, I didn't really have to do much. I didn't really have to do much lying except to Kiefer. Um, but yeah, Adam and Callie must have convinced her really good that the vote was on Allison. So
Mm.
yeah, and sure enough, three votes were on Allison, so that she was able to nullify with the flypaper idol, which I certainly had an opportunity to find. But
Oh, so three votes were on Allison, but
three votes nullified on Allison, and the rest are on Lauren.
wow. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it was Nick, Seth, and Lauren, who we saw that as a three. The three people that we knew we had to leave out. So
Yeah.
basically all the votes went where I had hoped and expected they would go.
Yeah. So then she gives immunity to Nick on
Yeah,
her way out.
we opened the message in a bottle, and it's again, I should have known that this would be a double vote and had some sort of contingency plan. Um, but yeah, she gives immunity. We're after they read the note. I Amelia's right next to me. I draw an N. Amelia goes, "Yep." I again I signal to Allison. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we're solid. Um, I figure Allison can, nudge Adam. I'm like, we're good. We just voted five, and this is like, this is actually a great. If this is the final five, like this is fantastic for me
Mm-hmm.
because I could, basically try to go to the end with Callie and Amelia. I actually figured if that's the final five, when I felt like this five, I felt like I felt like if this is the final five, I go to four no matter what. There's no way I get voted out at four. And maybe I have to make the fire um maybe I have to make the fire. Hopefully not against Allison, who can make it in 2 seconds. And maybe I just get taken to the end. Like I was once we saw that 4. I think I just got so comfortable, that 5 rather. I just got comfortable. I was like, yeah, this is the solid 5.
And then someone plays an idol and
Yeah.
dashes your hopes and dreams.
Yeah. So I actually, we got up. We had 3 minutes to talk, but we didn't even use that 3 minutes, I think, because we got up. I go over to Adam. I go to Adam immediately because when Nick gets the necklace, I'm immediately thinking like, oh God, we have to just vote out Allison now that our plans have been dashed. Um, and she has just now played her second idol in a row. She won immunity at 10 and she played idols at 9 and 8.
Yeah.
So I was scared having to do the double vote, and I was just like, I know people basically, I know people want to get Allison out. Let's just see if we have to do it now. It wouldn't be my preference, but my preference just was given immunity. So
Mhm.
um, so I go up to Adam. I'm like, do we have to do it now? I said I said to him, I said she's going to bend Driebergen her way to the end. She's finding a million idols and she can make fire in 2 seconds. Um, and I said, do we have any other options? And he says, Seth. And I look over and Seth's just sitting down.
You're
The
not
other
talking to
6 of
anyone?
us are all like, so yeah, we're all like freaking out. And Seth's just, and I'm like, all right, yeah, easy vote, sure. Well, fine.
Wow.
Um, Which, yeah, again, I wish I had nurtured my relationship with Seth more because we didn't vote together. Technically, we voted together for Zach, but we didn't even really talk much about that one at all because I,
Mm.
I wasn't sure if maybe he had some relationship with Zach from original Sebago.
Mm.
So I didn't really work with Seth at all the rest of the game, which I really regret, honestly.
Hmm.
I think that was maybe my biggest miss. Um, but yeah, we confirmed the plan. I vote for Seth. And even when Callie plays the idol on Seth, I'm thinking, oh man, like Allison's toast. And yeah, just the dagger. She was even sitting right behind me. It was just a
Wow.
beautiful, beautiful moment. The
Stabbed right in
assassin
the
I
back.
never saw coming. Just a perfect position to put a knife right in my back
Mm.
and get me out.
Mm. Did you find out why? Um, so it was her and Callie.
So Callie took the 2 on the outs, and
Seth.
yeah, so it was the back row because the four of us that were all together were in the front row. Lauren was also in the back row, and I had not talked to Nick or Callie at any point. Like all my communication to Callie basically went through Amelia or Adam for the whole game anyway, which I
Oh,
wished was not the case, but I also
yeah.
knew I wanted to get Callie out, so I didn't want to have to I didn't want to have to lie to her too much, because I was targeting her. I was targeting her hard at 9, and I was still like really was trying to find a way to get her out at 8. Um, but was sort of like, is it the worst thing? I felt like, maybe, this is somebody maybe I could get to the end and beat. Like I don't really know what she's got going on, and I know she's been very paranoid the last few votes.
Hmm.
Um, so I wanted her out, but I wasn't worried about her. And damn, I should have been.
Yeah. She had everyone, and then she idled you out.
Yeah, and
She
it took
must have
me
known. She must have known that you had been targeting her. I'm sure someone told her because she had everybody.
maybe. It took me a long time to piece it together. Certainly that night, I was like, "What happened? Why? Wow, I got voted out some really crazy way."
Yeah.
And like every iteration of the end game, I was basically thinking like, "Oh, I can do this and do that, and then I'm going to lose the fire," or "Oh, I can flip on them and then and then I'm going to lose the fire." I just I didn't really get to the point where I had hopes of winning because I was just so convinced that I was gonna be forced to be the terrible Boy Scout once again and lose the fire. Um, so yeah, I wasn't too heartbroken, but eventually I think I sort of put it together in my mind and I realized um, it's the perfect move for Callie because if she if she does that and first off major move on her resume to play an idol correctly.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, she's not going to do that and take out Amelia. So if she takes out Allison or Adam, she jumps me in the threat category, and she's now probably the number two, maybe even number one threat.
Hmm.
But if she idles me out, Allison and Adam are still there as big threats. And she has positioned herself with basically a number of options to get further in the game. Whereas I think that if she was to vote out Seth, she's kind of on the outside, whereas like Adam and Amelia are kind of the swing people in that group of five. Um, she's kind of off on she's kind of at their mercy. I don't know, but she's kind of insulated in that group too.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that by taking me out, she positioned herself well in terms of like the threat list.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made it such a brilliant move.
Yeah.
I think she also recognized that we were both playing a similar game. We were both trying to play subtle, not so out in front, and
Hmm.
operate in the shadows. And she was doing a hell of a lot better job than I was at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I uh, I think that I think that when our season airs, I think that we're going to see some really badass women in this cast, and
Yes.
I hope that it'll promote more applicants in the future for Surviving Maine. And I think everybody really crushed it this season. The production took on so much to go from doing 16 people to doing 18 with the edge. My God.
Yeah. I can't, they had so many people. I mean, and that's a testament to Liza and the whole game that like so many people from last season came out to help with production.
Yeah.
So many of them. Just amazing. So would you play this was your first LRG, right? Would you
This
play?
was my first of any sort. This was the first time that I connected with the Survivor community.
Yeah.
I have not been to any RHAP events. I haven't been to anything. Um,
Are you a patron?
I am not, but I should
Okay.
be. I mean,
Yeah.
I listen
Yeah.
to I've taken a break recently
Hmm.
because I needed it. But yeah, I'm like two at least two podcasts, at least know-it-alls and one more
Yeah.
during the regular during the season. So
Weekly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, now that the Surviving Maine podcast has been going on in my head for the last several weeks, I haven't felt the need for it as much. But yeah, it was beautiful to connect with other Survivor fans and see this whole world out there that I wasn't aware of until very recently.
Yeah,
It
awesome.
was my first game of any sort, and yes, I would love to play another one.
Are you gonna like maybe try to do another one next year? Or do you want Liza to do All-Star season so you could yeah.
Yeah, me and Allison already have a pregame alliance for
Ah,
to
you want
2028 Surviving Maine All Stars.
okay, I'll be nice and cut that out of the podcast for you.
And hey, it's not going to be a secret. It's not going to be a secret that TG and Allison are in an alliance. It never has been, and it never will be.
Oh my god. That's funny.
I would, yeah, that would be such an honor, and yeah, I'm so glad that I'm so glad that I got to have so much fun. Um, I think that if I was in a position of power for the whole game, I would not have gotten to express myself and show sort of the fun side of my personality as much. But I think that that difficult situation at Moosehead really allowed me to get in touch with my dramatic side.
Yeah.
That was always like it was always like a path not taken for me. Like I always was interested in acting and theater, but I never pursued it in high school or in college. Really, I did like one thing, like I did one play in high school, and I did one theater class in college, but I
Hmm.
never really like put my foot on the gas in that. And to be in front of the camera and to be able to uh, be expressive and be fun and be silly and be myself. Um, I'm so grateful for the opportunity,
Yeah. You ate it
and
up.
I would definitely love to give it another shot.
Nice. Yeah. I hope you do.
I don't think anything will ever be as magical as this experience, though.
No, it won't.
I wouldn't expect it to.
Yeah. Aw. Anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap this up? It's almost 4 hours now, TJ. You will win longest
Do I have the
podcast.
record? Okay.
You just beat William for longest podcast about 10 minutes ago.
Uh, if uh, if anybody is looking to play poker or learn poker, please hit me up. I love to help people, find experiences that they enjoy, and I love to see I love to, impart knowledge and share my personal experiences or my knowledge or things that I've anything that I've learned in life, I love to share and I love to educate. So if you have any interest in poker whatsoever, please hit me up. And if you're ever at Encore Boston Harbor, uh go look for the 510 table and you'll probably see me there. Come say hey.
510 table at Encore. You heard it here. TJ, if you move to Pasadena, I'm going to take you up on that those poker lessons.
Yeah. Okay. You're fourth on the list, Taylor.
Okay.
The first, let's see, we had Amelia, Allison, and then Topher have asked me for poker lessons as
Nice.
well. So
Nice.
I'm hoping I really hope we can get a reunion together soon. And
Mhm.
if yeah, I've had thoughts of, do some sort of like charity poker tournament, something or other. I think would be really
Ah,
cool.
yeah, awesome.
But I think it's going to venue wise, it may require the assistance of someone that's not me.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I'm moving in. I'm moving in. I'm moving in right next to Adam Topher and Kiefer, on July 1st.
You
So
are
hopefully, yeah. My buddies have lived like the next street over from them for 8 years,
no shit.
and I'm taking my buddy's apartment just for 2 months, and he's going out to LA to law school. So I'll be right down the street from them, and hope to get some board game nights or some
Nice.
silhouette nights, and yeah, hang out with
Awesome.
them. I had a great time. The myself, Allison, and the three of them went out for beers and a whole lot of game talk that sure bored their one friend that was with us.
Oh no, not an outsider. Poor thing.
He took it very well, but yeah, um we went back and had some Thai food, and of course I ordered some of the menu items that don't appear in English.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they were enjoyed by all. So that was a really nice time, and I really hope we can get a large scale reunion together soon.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I hope you guys do. All right, TJ. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
You as well, Taylor. This was wonderful, and I'm glad you had the stamina to hang in with me for this long.
Yeah, you're lucky my wife's gone for the weekend. She would have like 2 hours ago been like, "What the fuck?" All right. All right. Time for me to eat something before I go to bed.
Thank you so much, Taylor. This was really wonderful, and stay in touch.
Yes. Awesome. Bye.
Good night.